So I guess that makes Namek like what is it?
We're live, by the way.
Wait,
Huh?
we're live?
Yeah, we are.
Alright.
Hello.
We're already live, really.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is
Because it's not a review response, which takes longer to prepare.
right. Yes, this is a recap stream thing for Script Corners. I was told to just get in here, so I don't know what the fuck we're gonna be talking about.
Oh well, it seems like Airborne's too lazy to join.
Alright.
I'm not buying the whole busy explanation. That
Alright.
I just
But
don't think it feels.
Airborne probably has his own shit to deal with, and it's understandable. Okay, so
God
yeah,
damn it.
alright. Okay.
Oh,
So,
we have a whole bunch of fucking streams we can talk about. Whole bunch of things we did. Whole bunch of things that happened. So, where shall we start?
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, when did we do the last recap?
Like months ago. Let me check.
I don't think I was on for that one.
I think you were. No, that was the one where Oliver.
CTD 6 recap, also partial face reveals. Yeah, I was not on for that one.
Yes, you were. I remember.
I was no, yeah, I remember. I was on for like 5 minutes and then I left because I thought that it was stupid. To be fair, if we're gonna be honest, most of your CTDs have been dumb.
yeah, I don't understand why we do these.
That's not
The
something
Dr.
you
Delicious
say
one.
when we are doing it live, you idiot.
The Dr. Delicious one.
Sorry, I wanted to ask it earlier, but you guys keep talking, so I couldn't have the time.
gotta stand up for yourself, lab. You know, you gotta take command and fucking say words over our words so that we know, and we can all just talk over you like a bunch of bastards.
Wait,
All right.
what do you mean?
Yeah,
Right?
I have no idea how to respond to that.
Right now, I'm filling out forms for a health physical for school sport, plus another paper, and I gotta do that like now.
Okay.
Damn.
Seems reasonable.
All right. Well,
So we did one about.
any more of this crap, Airborne, and I'll just start to psychologically assume that you're no longer part of this thing. To be honest, I feel like a lot of people are no longer a part of this thing. Sort of starting to begin to fizzle out a bit.
Fizzle out.
Which is
It's
too
been
bad.
Fizzling out for a while now.
Okay.
Get all
Thank you for
freedom.
beautiful, well said, Lupus. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, so yeah, I honestly, they've been so long ago. I should start looking them up. Oh God, the fascism video. Oh, that was awful. Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did?
Yeah. Why the fuck did I thought that was a good idea to respond to that video? Now,
Like, it was a good thing to respond to. Don't get me wrong, but it just like most of the people we dealt with have been like aggressively stupid. Like, I don't think I've ever like watched a video that was that like maliciously like fucking just vile about how I straight up feel like the guy who made that video is like a bad person.
well,
Which
is
video are we talking about? Sorry.
The most recent video we did.
I'll let Latvian get his words in because I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's Renegade Cut. You want, after watching one of his videos, you just want to fucking strangle the guy.
Renegade Cop.
Well, it's just like I think just the whole nature of that video was just fucked up because like you start off trying to look for something that just isn't there to begin with. Like there like I would say like a story like Star Wars can only like thematically have fascist elements in it. Like there's no way in hell that it would ever be like on the forefront like that because that's just not how you make a movie. You don't go like, and here are the fascist bad guys who are using explicit fascist tactics, and this is like a demonstration of why this is a bad thing. Like no, like it's like the Empire is more totalitarian than they are anything else. Like they're just dictate what people are allowed to do in like several, you know, in different places of the galaxy and everything. And they're very human centric as well, which, like, I suppose there's some like minor like racial themes going on there. Like it could, but you know the funny thing is like that could just be the OT not being able to like have 1,000 alien extras in like the Empire areas. Like it's hard to tell, but like anyway, the point is to start like looking for something like this. It's just ridiculous because you could, I mean, you could you could easily like label the rebellion as terrorists. Like if you really go fucking like looking for all the things that they do, I mean, like, you know, like they hardly ever explain why the Empire is bad. So like you could just say that Luke Skywalker is like an anarchistic terrorist who wants to destroy evil bad guys because their clothes are like gray and their buildings are really dark. You know, like it just it's I mean, and also it's trying to politicize a movie, which is like just doing fine without that. I think like I mean, I don't think the Star Wars movies are non-political. I don't think they are at all. Like that's got, you know, that's the funny, that's like the interesting thing that you see often is that you know, like I wouldn't necessarily say just the left, but often, you know, like the crazy liberals of today, they want to like they want to politicize every single movie, and then a lot of people on the other side, or just general people, are like, no, they're not political, blah blah blah. That's not true either. It's kind of like both are wrong in that sense. There's a lot of movies which have some really clear like political like sways and
Yeah.
like messages. It's just that the vast majority of them that came out before the year 2000 just had a lot more finesse with them. Like a
Or
lot
at the very
more.
least, didn't like insult the audience blatantly for like going to the movie itself or trying to
Like
just
like
make
the movie
everyone else out to be dumbasses for not understanding it.
like the movie Falling Down has anti-Christian and a lot of different, like, I would say segments, like a few minor anti like it kind of, to be fair, at the same time it also, well, it's hard to say. I mean, like the neo-Nazi in Falling Down is clearly like just a crazy manifestation of Joel Schumacher's like fears as like a because okay, so like I think this is fine because this is like an interesting topic anyways. It's like, you guys know Joel Schumacher, the guy who made Falling Down and the Batman movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, so like and I'm not bringing this up because for the reason you might think, but like well, the point is he's gay and he's like Jewish. So like I think that in Falling Down, the neo-Nazi guy is kind of meant to be like the ultimate like bad guy or something, to like compare the crazed like main character, because the main character is like, I think he's like chaotic evil or chaotic good or something. So yeah, I think that's how you would describe this. It's Oliver. It's like you would describe him as chaotic good, I guess. And like the neo-Nazi guy is like chaotic evil, so it's like his opposite or something. But it doesn't really work because, you know, for many different reasons. Like
one sec, I need to go. I need to talk to somebody, but go
all right, cool, sorry.
Go on.
But yeah, anyway, like the point is that like that guy, Joel Schumacher, doesn't really like Christians. So like very early on in the movie, like there's like a car with a bumper sticker that's like Jesus died for our sins or something. And it's supposed to be something that the main character is like annoyed about. Like I thought it was just something that gave him stress, as like everything is giving him stress. But it turned out to be something that was that was actually, yeah, I will, Lupus. And it turned out to be something that was actually intentional. And I remember when I read up on that, I was like, oh. It's kind of funny. Like, Falling Down, I for the longest time, I thought it was like a 10 out of 10. And then when I figured that out, it was like, oh, okay, now it's a 7 or 8, something like that. Still a really good movie, but it's, well, the point is what I just said is that, like, movie like Falling Down, like, it has some, like, political themes in it. And I guess you could say also religious themes in it that I heavily disagree with. But the rest of the movie is really good, and the finesse and how these things are put in is pretty good. Although I will always say that the neo-Nazi is like the most cartoonishly bad guy dumbass. Seriously, a lot, man. Like, I don't know if you watched Falling Down, but like, there's 2 gay guys at his store, and he keeps calling them faggots, and he's like yelling at them aggressively. Like, or actually, no, he's like talking to Foster. And then as he's talking to him, he keeps saying, like, your clothes like these really make the faggots like want to fuck off. And it's really dumb. Like, that, honestly, that whole part of the movie just sucks. Like, it just, like, if I would make like my own version of Falling Down, I would just cut out that like fucking bumper sticker and then the neo-Nazi, and then the movie would be perfect. Well, maybe not entirely. I don't know. But anyways, there's a shit ton of movies that have that. It's just that it's never explicit. And, like, it's frustrating because these people are always looking for something, but they're never looking at what, like, the artist is wanting to say. They're always looking at, well, what they want to see, actually. Like, that's the thing. So, like, like, a video like the video like what Renegade Cut made on Star Wars, that shouldn't be able to exist. Like, it shouldn't. Like, only human bias and error create videos like that. Because if I were to like have to like seriously like, if I would make a video like seriously trying to dissect, the fascist elements in like Star Wars, I would probably end up being like, okay, so there's a little bit here in A New Hope with Tarkin. There's a little bit here in like Episode 3 with like the obvious, marching on the temple scene. There's a little bit here and there, and it's kind of like just the amount you would expect and probably would be able to notice on a surface level, visual fucking watching of the movie, and it would be like a 1-minute video, and it'd be like, okay, so here's some, and that's it. Like, it's not something you can make something long about. Like, it's because it's like, it's hilarious. Like, if you remember Labian, he just goes in these retarded tangents where he's like, Mussolini, when he rose to power, it was they revitalized the nation with ultranationalism and all kinds of other bullshit.
Yeah, I've seen other videos and he doesn't go on those tangents. Maybe it's because they're more earlier before he lost his brain.
Well, he was it's very clear if you watch the video. Like, this video is like an excuse for him to like vent on like people he despises politically. Like, it's like, I mean, like, look, if there's anything, like, that moment when he like takes a picture from that guy who was I think it was a guy who was at Charlottesville or something, I don't know, something like that, and he was like, look at this guy, he's like he's a white knight defending the white race from whatever their scapegoat is. And the hilarious part about that is that, like, I would probably argue that he would be defending the white race from people like you that are just fucking crazy. Like, but yeah, it's like, it's like, even talking about it kind of brings out like the whole fucking political shit, and that kind of makes me that kind of already turns me off. But it's just a fact is that entire thing was just a fucking quagmire of, like, just, it was full of pseudo-intellectualism and then framing. Like, framing. Endless fucking framing. It pissed me off so much. It was just, like, you can boil the whole point of the video down to, all right, so Star Wars teaches us what fascism is, and fascism is everyone I disagree with. Now, everybody, hope you enjoy, like, and subscribe. And that was basically that video. Look
All
at
right.
this.
All right.
God.
Okay. One of the Roger Stinson says, "Hey guys, can you do Linkara next?"
Who the fuck
Well-
is that guy?
Well, he's also was part of Channel Awesome, and he reviews comics. I actually watched him a lot.
Is he, like, not as terrible as the other guy?
No,
Can I say something on the whole thing?
I've.
He
All right.
he left Channel Awesome for a very good reason.
Yeah. Okay.
know,
We know.
Channel
No,
Awesome
change the
is not
channel.
so-
Okay. It's been years. All right. Okay. Okay. Linkara's not.
Yes, I know.
Linkara's
Oh,
not as politically charged as Renegade Cut, but he's probably on the same place as any of those former Channel Awesome members. They just hate the prequels, all of them, even the ones I like Phaelus.
Yeah,
And-
well, it's a popular thing to hate the prequels.
Well, it was.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. Like, if we're all going to be like really adult here and like actually consider what we have been doing, like, you know, we have been, like, I would say that most of this server's or this channel's history is just us like exercising.
Inner child.
Shut up, Lupus. We are exercising like essentially our like revenge, hate, like anger toward on, you know, the internet for just being so fucking terrible at everything.
Coronian
It's like-
National Media Network.
It's like the internet, it just fails so often. Just like how humanity fails so often. Like the truth or basic logic is right in front of them and they all fucking miss it, or they look at it from just the most retarded perspective imaginable. Like,
Yeah.
like you know, like a calf is being born and like a farmer has to like pull it out of the cow with like a giant fucking pull machine. And I swear to God, like a lot of people today would think that thing ran into it, and that's why he's trying to pull it out. Like, it's just, you know, like, okay, I think I might have poorly explained that one, but I mean, like, just, it's insanely easy to brainwash people nowadays. Probably because most people have, like, dropped their guards, frankly. Like the internet did a lot of good things, but it also did a lot of bad things. Like, the good it did is that it made it so that you couldn't, it's basically impossible to only get information from one source. Like, you're going to run into something else eventually anyway. Like, it might not sway you, but you're going to be introduced to different ideas. That's, like, we're a part of that. Like, these people make these terrible videos. And even though they don't get that, our streams don't get that much views, the one or two guys that do run into it do have their perspective, like, challenged a lot. Which is, in my opinion, probably what we're doing it for. If we're gonna be honest, like, it's a lot of it is venting. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't know what this shit is. All right, like, we are just a bunch of jackasses yelling, you know, at like stupid people for being stupid. You know, like, we're hardly really making that much change happen. We're just, I don't know. I guess we're chasing something. We're trying to. At least that's what I've been.
Most like foolish video we did yet, other than the bloopers.
I think like probably one of the earliest ones, the Nerl one, like that one was just, that made me want to
Was just a
skin
rant
that guy.
about everything.
Oh, okay.
How about
The
most
worst-
professional?
the worst video will always be belated media. Like, I think that like you guys have like skipped over that, like my reaction to that one a lot. Because like I think a lot of people were kind of weirded out by how I reacted to him, and I do kind of. I would prefer it if somebody could go up there and just chop out all the moments I go insane. But like, to like put it into perspective, right? Like it's like you have this guy who is like, oh yeah, George Lucas did a poor job with the prequels. Now, this is like the story we would present if he would come with his script. And if I was the exec at Fox, I would be like, all right, so yeah, we're gonna do something different. And then like he just comes up with like Obi-Wan like pedophile and and like Order 66 is a battle and fucking like episodes 2 utterly insane plot that makes no like that. Remember that Levian like episode, like his plot for episode 2, like a random ship comes up in the hangar of Naboo, and the guys at the fucking the guys at the guard tower are just like, hey, can you identify yourself? I mean, like realistically, if a plane would come into our airspace illegally, we would probably shut it down by now. But we let you get into the hangar because we're so nice. Anyway, can you please identify yourself? I would like it if you identify. Like, it's just like, it's such a fucking dumbass thing. It's like, why the fuck would they let the ship go in? And why would they not fucking aim guns at it and be like ready to fucking shoot if like it was like hostile? Like, it's fucking insane. Like it's like literally driving into someone's driveway while they're there, and then getting out of the car and then stabbing him and stealing his car. It's like I feel like that's a little bit too easy. Like that guy would probably do something before you get out of your car. Like it's just insane. But yeah, I mean like that guy. What do you want to say, Labian?
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, I want to answer that. Well, we can respond to Lankara's reviews of the Star Wars prequel comics because because they probably have more issues than it's no okay. I really fucking this. All right. Okay. In his TFA comic review, he literally defended Finn versus. Literally said that Finn versus that stormtrooper is better than any fights in the prequels. Like when it comes to motivations.
Oh, fuck off.
That's just and all right.
What
he
the
did
fuck
make
is he on about? You're with him. You brought him here to kill me.
Okay,
Like,
what was our most professional video we've done?
The most professional video we did.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Well, that one is probably like an hour long. So I would say like one of the shorter ones where we just broke through like a terrible or like okay video, whatever it was. I guess you could say our BigJackFilms one is like our best one. Like just because BigJackFilms like actually like was able to well, he basically like respected us and just was like, yeah, all right. A lot of what you guys said was right.
Wait. First of all,
I mean, like, it's
BigJackFilms one was just a mess because of all the Oliver stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Yeah.
second
Okay.
one was
Apologize for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That will always be the best. Like it just the way how Latvian was passive aggressively trying to get everyone to continue the video. The way how I was like, like I know everybody like laughs because I like yelled like a maniac, right? But like before that, just the entire time, it was like I was playing that game where like heads pop up. You're supposed to hit them with like a hammer and then they go back down, and like they keep doing that.
Poop
like,
killer.
Like that was what I was doing that entire time. I was just like, okay, who the fuck is it? It's the BMFAQ guy. Get him. Just like okay. Just going around with a hammer trying to figure out who it was. To be fair, I think the only reason why I freaked out like I did was probably because I thought it was Oliver from the beginning. Like I just ran around in circles, and it was like, "Is Oliver doing this?" I don't know, man. I don't know.
But then the second BigJackFilms one was okay. The third one, however, was just a pure mess.
Yeah, good job with that, by the way.
You blaming me?
Yeah, for playing all those stupid sounds at the end.
You're not
Yeah.
like Nightbreed or Southpaw or Poop Dealer didn't mess anything up.
Oh fuck.
Ah, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, yeah. I left in your final video of the BigJackFilms DB evolution, and I probably dodged a bullet because the fucking Stowpaw appeared for some fucking reason.
No.
I don't know why
Southpaw's
he.
not
I don't know
dead.
why
They're
he
different
showed up.
people.
PL bullet?
No, I didn't. Okay, I dodged a metaphorical bullet.
Why did you dodge a metaphorical bullet? I still don't get that.
PL.
Okay, I probably would have gone batshit in. Okay,
Yeah.
I would probably go batshit insane if fucking Southpaw tried to annoy us.
Well, you didn't really need to worry about it. I mean, I fucking verbally destroyed him.
You verbally destroyed him. Okay, Lupus.
No.
Yeah, I did.
Jeb is not Southpaw, as I said. They're different peoples.
Well, if you remember, he like called my he like said that my like laughing was like autistic screaming, and then I schooled him on like what voice acting was.
Replica. Did you
Yeah, what?
did you not know who Jeb was?
Jeb.
Okay.
Dude, I have no idea who he is. I just banned him towards the end.
remember him.
I think
being
you
the
forgot,
Southpaw
but I know who he
Spider-Man
is.
stuff.
Thank you for that, but
So
what?
He did.
Wait,
Same guy.
wait,
Jeb,
who you?
Can I tell?
Wait, who?
On the
You know
YouTube.
who the guy that gives
The
screenshots
Jeb the
on
Master.
Nom
Who's the-
server?
I know who Jeb is. He's a different person in Southpaw. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll tell him who he is. Who he was. You already knew him, Replica, but you forgot that he was the guy that responded to your comments. One of the guys that responded to comments in Houston's video. Calling
What?
out. He was.
What are you on about?
No, he actually was one of the people that commented.
On what?
The Houston video anomaly.
Houston?
Like,
The what?
the Houston video. The
Replica,
Houston
you
video on
forget?
anomaly, did you forget?
Houston made a video against Anomaly. Remember?
And you commented a lot on it. And Jeb responded.
Oh, that retard. Oh, I fucking completely forgot about it.
Okay, which guy?
Yeah, Patrick got like angry over me that as well. I don't understand why everyone took his side.
Patrick? Who's Patrick?
We're not.
Patrick.
First of all, we're not here to take sides. We're just here to like discuss. Okay.
Yeah. All
What
right.
happened, not
Okay.
to
Oh.
side. Okay.
All right. All right. Who was Patrick?
Patrick is the guy who's actually in the comments over there right now. Like, yeah, I don't.
Oliver.
So Jeb responded to me there, like, but like, how did he get into our Discord then?
He probably remembered it, but I think he was trying to pretend that he's never seen you or something, or like a troll. But then once he left, he went to the YouTube. He went to the live chat and said that, "Why are you being such a, replica?"
Yeah, I don't. If I'm going to be entirely honest with you guys, I was completely. I was completely sidelined by how random and just nonsensical all of that was. Like I did, like I literally banned him randomly. Like I want to point that out. Like it was completely random that I banned him. Like I banned him around the time that Nightbreed showed up and Southpaw came along. I banned him purely because I was getting overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, hold on, somebody needs to fuck off, because I'm not dealing with all of this shit at the same time. But yeah, like it's I don't know, man. Like that whole part, I still to this day I'm just confused by it.
They just got revenge on Halsey for some reason.
Revenge
on
on
that
what?
one episode.
Yeah.
What? Revenge on what?
Revenge on you. like messing with you, you know?
Nah, they didn't, because I feel like I mean, I suppose it's like
I mean, they did. They did
they
try.
really didn't. Trust me, like they did not.
Like
Like,
like you have a hate-based replica,
I've
and you have to kill.
Okay.
hate-based.
As long as it's not as bad as some other hate bases, I think you will be fine, Replica.
look, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when it comes to that specifically, like that was just entertainment for me. Like like I kept fucking destroying everybody who was trying to give me shit in the comments. I don't I mean, what can I say? Like, if I literally don't even understand why you have a problem with me, then like you're not gonna get far in like making your like mean words get to me. Like I'm just I still remember when I told the guy like, "Do you know who you are?" Because I have no idea who you are. Like I have no idea where you're even from. Like and by the way, like just want to point this out there. I have never seen these people on my own channel either. So it's like I'm not exactly like fucking intimidated by this like amazing fucking this. Oh god. I don't care. That's to make a long story short, I don't care. It does nothing.
Yeah, alright.
Wait, what else?
Okay, but so okay, what do you think, Replica? Should we cover Linkara's Star Wars prequel comic book reviews?
I don't really know who he is.
Alright. Okay, like I said, he's a comic reviewer and a former member of Channel Awesome.
Where's Michael?
Can I?
Alright, so what else
Yeah.
happened? Let me check.
Actually,
quickly.
some ideas for some videos we could cover later on,
Yeah.
like when I
We never
saw
did the
at the
blanket
movies video.
We almost
and-
did it once, like a long
Yeah,
time ago.
the
but we just
Crimes
quit.
Crimes of Grindelwald versus Attack of the Clones
Like we
video.
were like on the VC ready, and then everybody just gave up. Remember?
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest with you,
Yeah.
I've not wanted to do the blanket reviews because I just want to do those myself. That's just the bottom line. Is I want to do them myself.
Are you gonna start soon?
Yeah. After I'm done with Confused Matthew and Samuel Gavin,
Oh, okay.
which will probably take like a year. So you know.
Oh yeah, the bloopers.
The bloopers, what?
Bloopers 15.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's start. The bloopers is something you just started to do. Like, personally, I still think to this day, the only reason why you ever did them, Lupus, was because we all made fun of you and said you couldn't edit.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I had nothing else.
I
mean,
don't
I
really
wanted to
see,
play that,
like-
but I also had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
whenever
I
had
kind
more
of.
time. There were there were
I
parts
kin-
where I found funny, you know,
Fuck.
like you
I kinda-
all that replica.
Yeah. Oh, I really want to see Replica verbally abusing Southpaw.
Wait, who said that? Did somebody say that?
I was
I-
actually planning on doing a bloop. I was when you know R51, right? The crazy
Well,
one.
I mean, like, that would be the video I made on him that I'm not
I was
gonna put
do
out.
a blooper on that, but then I think it got too out of hand and it got like serious. So
What got
it's like to
serious?
the point where it's not even funny, but just annoying.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about R51,
What is R51?
the one with Southpaw, Nightbreed, Poop Dealer, and the noises.
Oh, that.
it made.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I said, I still find that funny, so it's like I don't. You see, that's like the weird thing about all this. There's just a lot of fucking dudes who thought that they. I don't get it. Like that's the bottom line. Is I don't get it. There's a whole bunch of fucking like, a whole bunch of jackass coming out of the woodwork to like try and screw with me, And like, I guess nobody ever told them that I don't care. I don't even know who they are. That's like the funny thing. I don't know who they are. It's like, what's even happening? Like that's like that's the situation I had for most of the time.
Onto all like
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, why does Pupilo hate me? I don't get it. Because I was kind of a dick to him, like for a little bit.
Well, you shouldn't have scolded him for saying the N-word. Maybe that's the reason. Who knows?
Did he say that like on stream, and did I get pissed off?
I think so.
You know the stream
No, I think
that you
he
got
said it was
angry at the end.
when we were doing that stream, that inappropriate stream, and you just like came in all upset.
Yeah. I mean, like, I mean, if you, well, I mean, like, if anyone had a problem with that, like, I'll just say it right now, like that, I don't care. Like that, I still remember that when that happened. Like, I just saw what you guys were doing, and I was like, dear God in heaven, what the fuck? Like, I still remember that, like, genuinely freaking me out. Because for me, it was just like, oh my God, they are going to kill their YouTube channel and, like, wreck all the fucking streams we have done so far.
It was just one stream. It takes three
Yep.
of them to terminate.
Yeah, that's a brilliant excuse for, like, already fucking up your reputation.
Well, okay. Right. When was that stream? Was it like okay?
It's deleted.
I'm-
but
Good.
I'm so sad that all the thing, like,
What?
well, if it's how sad that like most of us are starting to disagree with each other on a lot of things.
Well,
remember
that
back
particular
when we
thing
were
was
angry?
like,
before Anomaly had Southpaw drama.
well, it
Before
was,
the
yeah,
Doom
that
3
kind
stuff before the.
that-
Oh yeah, I
that-
forgot about the Doom 3 stuff.
that shit kind of started, yeah. Like when he made that terrible video and just started to like divide so many people. I mean, Airborne still agrees with that shit. Like, even though that video had absolutely no value whatsoever.
Wait, which video?
Let me say,
It fucking
Southpaw's video.
I'll say my opinion.
fucking
Like,
I mean, I suppose like I could
No.
say that it's like my fault. I should have just went ahead and made that video, but Anomaly told me not to. So, like, unless he pushed it really far, I'm not finishing that ever. But then again, I mean, like the damage does seem like it's
No.
mostly done anyways, because it's just people fucking acting like idiots.
alright.
okay.
Like I said, I am neutral in the
Right,
situation. For a
yeah,
very
you
good
are.
reason, too.
You should probably shut up about that.
Yeah, but all right. Okay, are you really neutral, or you're part of the Southpaw's cult?
I used to be.
Yeah.
That's the thing, I used to be. Then I realized
Oh,
I was wrong as
you're-
well.
Okay. When did
Oh,
you?
you're neutral in that way. Okay.
When did you quit them? Is like
When
Airborne
after-
still
after
with him?
this? No.
After what?
Labian, you're talking about this like
No.
you're talking about this like we are a bunch of like this is like two groups versus each other. This is not
No,
not
no,
none
I'm
of
not.
that. Absolutely none of that.
Sorry.
He as far as I'm concerned, like he is far below us. Like I do not give a shit. It's like what it was is that Airborne for some reason believed the bullshit in that video, and like as far as I'm concerned, that video is nothing more than just an attempt to like discredit like some a very good movie and also poison the well on any conversation that is
Right.
had in that film. Like it's
Okay.
very obvious. Like he's a fan of like the newer Spider-Man movies, so of course he wants to discredit the one that everybody agrees is amazing. It's
No.
really
he
simple,
doesn't
man.
like
Well-
Homecoming or From Home. Doesn't.
it's the
Dude,
other
point
one.
that
I don't
out.
know. Like I haven't seen those films myself.
But he does on a right to defend Jason too.
What did you say?
He
What'd you
unironically
say?
defends CSM2.
Season 2 of
He
what?
unironically defends CSM2.
Season 2 of
my
what?
God.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh God, I
Wait, Sopa defends.
yeah, talk about a movie that you have to have bad taste to defend. I mean, it's not the worst film in the world. I do think that they did have some kind of quality, but yeah, that
Yeah, that's like defending. It's like it's like shitting Man of Steel just because you like Superman 4. It's just kind of ridiculous logic.
like I said, like you really have to go out of your way to like to try and discredit one film so that the other movie is like liked more. Like that is like obviously what happened there. Like it's just, I mean, otherwise you couldn't like talk about it like this. I mean, like I mean, I could go on for ages about like how just broken the criticism is in that video. Like, you know, like essentially just like how he tried to say that it's impossible for Doc Ock to get anywhere without being discovered. Like, I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the video. It's like, there's no indication he's using tunnels, so we can't really say that he did that. Well, you can't say he didn't do that either. So, I mean, I don't. Why do you even bring this up?
Alright.
Nah, like I said, that video is just it's just a troll that's trying to poison the well on the
Alright.
discussion.
Yeah, Troll's so good that he became a member of EFAP. Alright,
Oh,
okay.
BigJackFilms, you're here. Oh, hi.
What?
Would you? Look. This is just random talking. If you would want to come on and like give this actually like a point to exist, I'd be very happy about that. Now you await his response.
Yeah, alright. Okay,
To quote the Mummy, "What are we doing?" God, that's one of those movies that I've seen like once, and I have to do it again.
yeah, I think I have a lot of those movies and shows.
Thank you, Lebian. I have a lot of those movies. Sure.
Reviews. Oh yeah, remember Adam?
Oh God.
Adam Weiser.
Adam is I refuse to take responsibility, but I still, regardless, I do
Jack
feel
says
kind of
he
bad.
can jump on for a bit.
Okay, all right. Let me give you a fucking thing right now.
CTD or I guess.
Yeah, quiet. Go ahead and like rename the stream to. Actually, fuck that. You know, just the exit this one and then go off. Not okay. We'll just do this. Well, it's a recap anyway, and he's one of the things we recap or recapping on. So just stay.
We were
Bring him in.
planning another separate stream with him.
No, that's what you were planning for like
No, that's
approximately like 50.
Okay, just change the title to okay,
Recap on everything.
fuck. What?
And now we are officially about to hear Latvian drama.
Don't say anything. Anyways, before he gets on, any remarks on Adam?
Well, to make a long story short, I feel bad about what happened with Adam, but it's not ultimately my fault. Ultimately, my fault. It's Johnny's fault for promising that we would cover his video. I still don't know why we did that.
Oh,
Hello.
oh, hello, Jack.
Hello.
What's the topic, guys? Baldius.
Yeah,
You-
you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, awesome! How you guys doing? I mean, yeah, man, I've been watching you guys lately, and I discovered you at a pure random when you did my Star Wars reviews, and I'm like, oh boy, what are they gonna roast me on? And I had a really good laugh with it. You guys, like, I'm watching it, super goddamn funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a space Nazis, Latvian. They dislike them. They dislike that they keep dying.
Okay, I love that. Like, see, look, I'm the kind of guy who, when I do movie reviews and stuff, I can take the heat because I know in some instances some of my content is not the best, but at the same time, it's like I can take the jokes. Like, I've actually sent my movie out to a few people, like some of my stuff out to a few people, and I've gotten some good responses. Just a prime example, because I'm friends with a lot of the online reviewer guys. Doug Walker has seen my stuff, James has seen my stuff, and they think it's great. So I'm getting a lot of recognition on that end.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, I mean, here's the thing too, is like, I mean, James and I are email buddies, so we talk all the time.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's. I mean, you know what he's talking about, Latvian, right? Like, it's AVGN, James Rolfe.
Yeah, AVGN has appeared in some of your videos, right, Jack?
Yeah, it's funny how we kind of, like, I could actually tell the story, because this is actually funny how we actually first met, is that, I mean, I met him before as a young, stupid, edgy kid at, like, a convention in Ontario. It was him and Doug. But what happened was, later on, a buddy of mine, we both went to a con in Niagara Falls, and it's the con that, if you'll watch Nostalgia Critics review of the third animated Titanic movie, it takes place at that specific con. And me and him were there just to go see Doug and everything, and he was on the other side of the border, because we're Canadian. We had to go to the U.S. side, and we were waiting, we were at the panel, and I'll just say this right now, the con was terrible. It was absolutely horrible. And I had gone down there, and the host of the con was telling Doug and Brad and all them, we got to move because, you know, like, we got to get to the other side of the border to do autographs, which was a stupid decision. And so Josh and I, my buddy, we both went and said, well, we better get there ahead of time. So we actually walked from the U.S. to the bridge over to Canada. We were at the front of the line, but the thing was, the traffic was terrible. This whole con was a mess. So Doug so we're just, like, at the front thinking, well, I don't know how they're going to get across. But little do we know, as we're at the front of the line, we look at the corner, coming around the bridge, who is it but Doug, Brad, his wife, Barney, and all those guys. They're all walking down. So we wave them down because we know who they are and they know they're going to be late. So we say, you guys go ahead of us. They went ahead. We got in shit from the Border Patrol. And Doug actually waited for us. He wanted to check in. He said, yeah, are you guys okay? I said, oh, yeah, just the security guy was kind of being assy with us. And he's like, yeah, what an asshole. So Doug was super grateful for us. So we actually got to hang out with them for the rest of the day. And afterwards, it's like, my buddy and I, we went to Taco Bell there. And we were sitting down. We were kind of, like, eating KFC or Taco Bell or whatever. And we kind of looked like the hobbits after, like, the end of Lord of the Rings, where they all just are in the pub. And they're all looking at each other.
When you said Taco Bell, I just instantly got the idea that, like, John Spartan was gonna, like, arrest you there.
No. It was just more. It was one of those KFC Taco Bell combos. So we were sitting there like the hobbits at the end of Return of the King, like, realizing what we just did. And the joke I made was out of Muppet Treasure Island, where I said to my buddy, I said, Josh, we're heroes! We saved the critic and the snub! Well, it was too late to save the convention! No! So we kind of thought, okay, well, we've had kind of quite a day. So as we leave the KFC, we literally bump into James. Like, literally bump into him, and we're just like, oh, right? So he was cool. He was there. And then the next day, and then it's funny because, like, the next day we went back and we talked to James again. Oh, go ahead.
No offense, but I am trying to, like, figure out how. You've been talking for so long, I don't even remember what this is about.
Bear in mind, I am one of those people. I'm like the grandpa who will make you sleep on telling a story.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Good. Yeah. I don't think I don't think I ever met, like, someone special like that. But it's I mean, it's I would probably have like a similar reaction if I were to meet you in real life. Like it's always kind of fun to find people you because I don't think it's necessarily about that they're that you know them from the internet, but it's also that you think a lot like them, and I guess you attach yourself to the personality and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I mean, on my end, like, I've been starting to get more high in the higher ups. I went to a con in Chicago called G-Fest, which is an amazing convention. It's all Godzilla themed. And I counted like 50 fans there that I met who wanted autographs, photos, and stuff. And I plan to go back next year, hopefully, if this thing is kind of settled down. But because I found out actually the majority of my fan base is from the United States, so
that makes sense.
I do want to go to more cons down on that end. But yeah, like when you start getting that recognition, I mean, I know a lot of people get the ego and stuff, and I don't let that get to me. And so the thing is, the money and the fame, that doesn't matter to me. My intentions are just to entertain my audience and also myself, because a lot of what I work on is basically sort of coming from any source of my life that I can either project, either good or bad, onto the screen, and it is sort of showing like, hey, here's my story, or hey, here's how I would have done certain things.
Yeah, like, I find that interesting. I mean, like I'm not my channel's not at a kind of level, like not even close to anything like yours, but I think it must be. I mean, like I don't know how successful you are. Like, I mean, like how much money do you make on like a weekly basis?
I can't really say the money wise, but I'll just say it's not enough to be like to have like a proper job that pays the bills. I mean, I do other side jobs on the side.
All right.
But the thing is, when the money's good. But on my end, it's more just I'm just more about let me get my art out there. Let me get my what
I'm talking about is that like there's probably I was assuming that you were making more than enough to earn a living, which
I mean, let me put it like this: YouTube, in terms of the algorithm and how it pays, you can't really have a full black and white decision on how much you make. That's not how it works. But investing your job as a YouTuber is pretty much the equivalent of putting your paycheck in the stock market, because it's just going to fluctuate every time. It can be up, it can be down. It doesn't matter. It's a stock. Like, no, everybody's been trying to crack the code of the stock market. I'm like, there is no code. It's pure random.
Yeah, but I don't really. I'm not an American. I don't deal with nonsense like that. But everything I ever heard about is that it's just some crazy bullshit that doesn't make any sense.
It is, and it is pretty much like every time you put a piece of content out there, you're basically rolling the dice. That's all. It's pretty much going to a casino. You're gambling whatever you put out, and you either can ride with it or just say, "Hey, I'm glad I put it out there. It doesn't matter about how much I make."
Yeah. Well, it's I can sort of sense that from you. I think that's kind of what makes you special. Is that because like there's a lot of cheap effects that you can use for videos nowadays that look pretty good. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say that the ones in yours are just terrible, but you're doing things that shouldn't really like I can't even fathom how long it would have taken to cut Cell out of I still remember that during our stream on that me and
nice
Kaiser,
stream, by the way.
Yeah. Me and Kaiser, we were like, I think was it me or you, Lavian? Like we were like saying like, oh yeah, look, why he's yellow because of the green screen. Oh no, just use a red screen.
I can explain. I can explain that.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I say, like, what I'm saying is that, like, we were like debating on like how to like not have that happen, and we kind of figured that it was impossible because any kind of like blue screen would have made the sky look like shit. And like,
here's how that essentially happened is because there's a guy I know who does a lot of what's called masking, and masking is where you take already established animation of characters and you just remove all the backgrounds frame by frame. A lot of people do this for like crossover music videos or YouTube poops and so on. Like, what's the one YouTube pooper from Britain who's doing like all this amazing stuff? His stuff is incredible, his masking. But there's a guy who does masking on YouTube with Dragon Ball characters. So
I'm I am aware. I have done it myself as well. Like it's I'm kind of different from the rest here of script grounders in that I would say that I am pretty well versed in this sort of thing. I know them. I could probably replicate most of the methods of your video. It just the way you distribute it is so just it's. I mean, like when you explained how long it took, it did kind of take away a little bit of the
That was like in terms of green screen material shooting on my end, an entire night shoot that lasted 12 hours, and it was all in my parents' garage with a brand new green screen and lighting, and all that it knocked me out for a couple of days. But it's more so like on my end, I'm three things when it comes to being a content creator. I'm a film critic, I'm a filmmaker, and I'm also a very heavy special effects guy. And when it comes to... Pardon?
Sorry, continue.
Yeah,
Lupus, your background noise, man.
I'm a big special effects guy, and what I try to do is be as practical as possible because I grew up with a lot of practical effects stuff. I mean, even when I did the Star Wars trilogy, I got a lot of feedback from people saying you should try to use more models. So with the prequels, one of the things we're doing is we're going to use more models shot on green screen to make it look more like the original trilogy.
That's appropriate.
So,
that's appropriate because the prequels have more. That's appropriate because the prequels have more practical effects than the OT combined.
Now, I do want to say, like, because I remember you guys did talk about my review of the trilogy. I don't hate the prequels. In fact, when it comes to Star Wars, I'm not as religiously obsessive as a lot of people are. I enjoy everything Star Wars, both good and bad. Like even say, like, you know what, the holiday special I think is a freaking comedy. There's like the sequel trilogy I'll get to at some point, but it's more so just I just enjoy it because I just want to go see Star Wars movies with my friends at an opening night and just enjoy it and not be like, you know, like just like where it acts like it is very much a religion to people, and it's like
I know it's completely ridiculous. I mean, like the only reason why we seem here on Script Grounders seem like we're like religiously about it is because we're I mean, okay. I'm a little bit of I would admit that I'm a little bit too much of a fan of the prequels myself, but it's
well, that's the thing. Like I grew up with the prequels. I saw them when I was a kid. Like they were my theatrical trilogy. I mean, I'm one of the last few generations that has managed to see the entire franchise on the big screen. I was there when the special editions came out. I saw them in the cinemas with my dad, and I think, on my personal opinion, that's when the fan base really just started to instantly hate it, was when George changed everything.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. I'm not saying the special editions are bad. They're practically the same movie. But my biggest, and I don't mind them like being out there, my biggest issue is George depriving people of the theatrical cuts that they grew up with. And especially given the fact that he was the guy who protested against Ted Turner colorizing old black and white movies back in the 80s. It's kind of hypocritical.
I think what just because I don't know if it was during our coverage of that review, but I remember like saying that like I just shut off because when people complain about that, because my whole life I've always had like the VHS copy of Star Wars. Like, I did recently figure out that is a special edition as well, which is pretty funny. But I mean, like, maybe I'm wrong at this because you are like, I mean, you have out-fanned all of us combined easily. But is it like would it be wrong for me to say that people could just watch the unaltered VHS ones if they want the original?
There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I still watch a few movies on VHS. I have fun with it. Me and my buddy Brad of Obscure Media TV, great channel, by the way, we go and find free lots of VHSs that are pre-recorded, and we kind of just go through them to see if there's any kind of historical archival footage that's been lost or something on them, and we find some really cool stuff.
Well,
the problem is I just want to say the problem with VHS is that, yeah, it's great to have, but the thing is, it's such of low quality compared to nowadays, is that I think what people want is the original versions in HD, in 4K, in the same quality as you would the other stuff.
So what you're telling me is that the VHS original copy, as in like the one that was like sold to people on like like the versions that were sold to people, just in the how do you call it, the mass
80s and 90s.
the mass produced like versions.
Yeah.
Are totally like like they totally exist and they're available. This is just about people bitching that it has to be like very HD.
It is about the quality, because as technology advances and gets higher and higher, we do want to see some of the stuff we grew up with in the same quality. I have the thing is with the Star Wars trilogy, in terms of the unaltered versions not being released, I have the same issue with the original English dub of Sailor Moon. There's the new dub that's currently out by Viz Media that's in HD and it looks beautiful. But the problem is that the old dub that, yes, is not accurate to the original anime dub and manga and everything, but it's for a lot of people like myself who grew up with the show in the 90s.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's the exact same story with the remastered version of Dragon Ball Z.
And from what I heard about like the reason they can't release it, one, it is a legal issue because that dub was done by Deke Entertainment, which, believe it or not, was a member of the Walt Disney Company. So technically, the Scouts were Disney princesses for a time. So I think it is a Disney issue because Viz is owned by Warner Brothers. The other reason is because the original audio negatives are pretty much gone, and on top of that, I think the creator of the franchise has pretty much denounced it. But that's the thing; it's like it doesn't matter because a lot of people, you would not have this franchise without those first viewers who grew up with it in the 90s, and we kind of want to, obviously there's new dubs that actually are more accurate, which I respect. But at the same time, it's like, why are we deprived of our childhood, basically? Why are we deprived of our memories?
I think, like, the reason why I struggle with it is because I was born in 2000. Like, I just saw them, like, I just saw all 6 of them, like, the way that George intended it, by mannerism of speaking. I don't really ever see why you wouldn't just, what is this? Oh, shit. Okay, I'll just finish my sentence and then I'll ask you this question. But like I just I don't, if you see it organically, like how it was meant to be viewed, it's kind of hard to understand people that are just, that essentially treat it like I'm not, obviously you're not doing it, but a large part of the fandom has the idea that there's only 2 good movies and like and those 2 good movies get fucked over by the special editions, and the rest is just garbage. So who cares what George thinks? Just watch the first 2 movies. They're the best.
I mean, it's not just nostalgia for a lot of people. It also is about preserving history because, like a prime example, when Star Wars came out, the original, it won a bunch of Academy Awards for that specific cut, and especially the visual effects. So when you do the special editions, it deprives those people who worked so hard on those effects back in '77. It pretty much says, "Oh, we're going to take your Oscar now and just shove it up our asses and bring it back to you covered in shit." Let's just say, respecting the artist.
Let's say I respectfully disagree that is what like George did when he changed it. I think he was just changing it because he wanted to change it.
Well, actually, I do kind of know why he actually deep down changed it. It wasn't just the fact that he wanted to make it a little bit better, which I understand completely. I mean, I'm guilty of that. But the reason because I talked to a friend of mine who's a huge hardcore Star Wars fan more than I am, and he said the reason why he changed it was in 1983 when Jedi came out, his wife Marcia divorced him and pretty much left and had him raise his daughter. But according to apparently a California law, that whoever you divorce in California gets half of your revenue. So when she left, I think because 1, she was trying to struggle with work, and 2, she was sick of George and his obsession with this trilogy, that when she left, she got half of the profits he was making from the merchandise and all that stuff. So George decided, I have to change it enough to where she's not taking my fucking money. And to be fair, especially if hypothetically, if your wife's a bitch, absolutely change it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really I don't know nearly enough about this whole thing to like make comments on like who was the right party in this, but I mean to me, I just think that this is one of those things that only nowadays in like the internet time that we live in, it can be a problem. Like I would like any other fucking shit. Like if this is like during the '60s or something, and people were talking about like a special edition of like Frankenstein, the 1933 one. Like I would just be like, "Oh, chap, shut the fuck up. We got Vietnam going on right now, and you gotta shut your stupid mouth. We have bigger things to worry about." But nowadays it's just like we have. It's just I don't know. It's,
I mean, like most theories and stuff of why things change, it mostly does come to legal issues, pretty much. Like whether it's mostly a lawyer's decision. I mean, even like I talked to somebody on TikTok about this. That somebody was saying, "Oh, Star Wars has always been about politics and subtle messages about certain politics going around the world." The thing is like the original 6 movies were more based on the politics of Vietnam and World War II, and I think one of the biggest issues the sequel trilogy suffered from. I mean, I'm very conflicted about that trilogy.
It had nothing to say, essentially.
It was basically I think it came out at the wrong time, because it was right around when we're having this massive cultural war, and there's not even any wars to really fall off on. I mean, we're almost out of all the stuff going on in the Middle East. But on top of that, I think they tried to have a plan, at least with The Force Awakens. But then when Trump came in office, all of Hollywood went full on, let's make essentially World War II propaganda cartoons with some of our biggest franchises. So a lot of Star Wars, Jurassic World, even Rampage, all of these movies suffered from what I call the Trump wave. Because remember too, when World War II happened and everybody went to war with Germany and Japan, the army went directly to Hollywood and say, "We need you to just make all these propaganda pictures so we can get more recruits for the war." So even Disney, even Walt Disney had to deal with that. There's a lot of documentaries on how much it kind of messed with Walt. So Hollywood history has repeated itself. And look, I don't care for American politics. I'm on nobody's side.
Best way to look at it. The best rapper ever in your country has the same attitude.
Yeah, like, I mean, say what you will about Trump, good or bad, but you gotta admit, he is a bit, in terms of being a shouting guy, he's kind of an asshole, and I think that's what rubbed people off. He was a big shouting asshole, and nobody felt comfortable around that.
Well, okay, like, I have, like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I could talk about hours about my deepest political views, but to just, a bit, I know, I said I could talk hours, never gonna do that.
Thank you.
How do I put it? It's just he brought up things that like you weren't allowed to bring up, and then everybody freaked out about that, and then everybody who always thought what he thought then jumped out, and like it just started to become this giant war because essentially nobody had been talking about the things he talks about, so it just became this massive thing. And the problem, of course, is that I would argue from a certain perspective that
from a certain point of view,
that George Lucas would be closer to I'm not saying that he would be in agreement with Donald Trump, but I think he's, at least with his movies, he's closer to him, as in that angle of in many ways you can look at the prequels as just one giant big ass warning of big totalitarian governments,
Exactly. It was also a matter of, I noticed this especially with episode 2, is that from what I heard, there was a lot of last minute reshoots on the film post 9/11, and there is meant to be a lot of that, because I think George was going for a bit more of with Palpatine, a lot more with the Nazis and Hitler. But then when 9/11 happened, he saw Bush put out all these all this stuff. He realized, okay, this is what I need to put in my movies. So from what I heard,
I would say it's a little bit more complex than that. You see, it's how do I put it, Jack? It's I would recommend you to study this sort of thing. I could send you a lot of people, but the irony is that George goes a lot more deeper than that, I believe. Like he looks at history, like the fall of the Roman Empire and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, nothing against George. Nothing against George whatsoever.
And when people look at, you know, like when people look at a surface level viewing, then like the irony is that they say that George Bush, like America, is like, you know, is like similar to the fall of the Roman Empire, which is true. Like it's just basically, you know, massive overreach and shit like that. And then they think that George is doing that, but I mean, I think he's doing a little bit of both, maybe. Like but it's always deeper than that. Like and it's, but whatever it is that he does, it's always more than just the surface level of like, because like I could tell by the trailer, like because I don't know if you like experience this yourself, but if you remember, one like a year before The Force Awakens like came out, we saw all this shit with feminism and Gamergate and all that crap. And
I avoided that like the plague, and yeah. I have no say on that matter.
Well, I respect that, but you know, like I mean, to be fair, I avoided it as well, but like I know what they were talking about, and I think do you in that sense like know what they were talking about?
I kind of do, but at the same time,
yeah, exactly.
My opinion is I don't give a fuck. Basically, half the time with everything in politics and controversies, I don't care.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is that like when you heard the discourse there, you would like, and you would watch the trailer for The Force Awakens, you would instantly know what's going on. Oh, female protagonist, because now feminism is like going crazy everywhere. Like
it's just with the sequel trilogy, I didn't mind them doing that.
Well, I'm not saying that would necessarily be a problem. It's just that the cynical part of yourself would already be like aware of what's going on here, and it's, you know, and I think everybody, like I think a lot of people knew that a lot of it was like surface level, you know, commentary on current day politics, like that. Like I mean, like the way how like the Resistance and the First Order are so obviously, you know, diverse in like the people that are there. Like, you know, like I mean that still confuses me to this day. Like if you got people,
I'll say this. I mean, on my end, I'll just say this too. Like you bring that up. I think the biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is the lack of world building, and mainly the fact that I guess they probably didn't do it because they thought, well, we have to disassociate ourselves from the prequels as much as possible because everybody hates them. That was at the time where prequel hate was huge.
Yeah, I agree. They
said, and I imagine there were some parts of the scripts that said, well, we should have a scene where the Senate talks. Like, no Senate talks. We had 3 movies of those with trade negotiations and stuff. But you know what? Watching the whole trilogy as a whole, going back to the prequels, like I always assumed episode 2 was the worst of the prequel trilogy. It's boring, it's dully acted, and then everything doesn't pick up until the last third, and you're like, where was this movie the whole time? But I watched it on TV again, and I realized all the politics stuff as an adult, I can actually understand, and it actually makes you realize, oh, okay, this makes sense now. I'm not asking for a whole movie about that. Like a whole movie about the sequel trilogy being about politics. That's what The Simpsons did with their spoof of The Phantom Menace. But at the same time, I would like at least one scene in each movie trying to explain what the hell's going on. The politics in Game of Thrones were easier to follow.
Yeah. I mean, like, but yeah, I mean, like, it's like, you know, you see how JJ is like he is deliberately making the movie for the lowest common denominator of the fandom. So that would be like the Plinkett like Stan types, and then it also like, you know, appeal. I would say appeal, but honestly, in a lot of ways, like it was more pander to surface level politics like feminism and diversity and crap like that. And you just get a soulless set of movies that really don't have much they don't really have anything to say. I think most people after the Rise of Skywalker came out, they I think most people thought that they would just be angry forever, but what you see a lot nowadays is just nobody cares anymore. Just, they don't give a fuck.
The best Star Wars movie to come out of the Disney era, in my opinion, has always been Rogue One. I had a blast at that, and it's funny. Right before this call, I was coming up with the idea of doing like a tiny little video essay titled "How Rogue One Made Watching the Original Star Wars Better." And I mean, that's not to say that Rogue One is better, but it made watching the original movie better because I saw the scene where, like, in episode 4, where, like, all the Imperial guys are talking on the Death Star, and when you're hearing their dialogue, you realize, oh shit, it kind of makes the movie a bit more fast-paced, where it's like, because Rogue One left it, like, literally takes place before it, and so when they say, like, the Rebel Alliance is too well equipped, they're pretty much talking about how, like, the rebels pretty much showed up at Scarif and said, surprise, motherfucker, we're more organized and bigger than you thought. And the Empire's like, shit.
Yeah, so I know. And that also explains why they're so incredibly aggravated and hostile.
They panicked. They panicked because I guarantee they told Palpatine, hey, this threat's bigger than you thought. You might want to figure something out. And Palpatine's like, okay, I'll quickly cite into law that the Senate is pretty much cancelled, so that roots out any support for the rebels. There, done. It's like, oh, they blew up the Death Star. Son of a bitch!
Hey, wait, hold on, guys. Can we like try to get someone to get that animated to like just so that Jack the Legend ends up becoming fucking Palpatine in this instance? Because that would be amazing.
My Palpatine's not that good. I've got a few other people who are better. I will say this about the prequel trilogy is that I'm working on. We've had to put it on hold for a while because of the pandemic, because we are going a lot bigger than the first trilogy. But what's great about it is that I'm actually updating a lot of things. We're updating the Vader costume. We're bringing in more characters. The thing is, too, when you watch my set of Star Wars videos, or any of these for that matter, they are in a way me, because I do reviews, but I also do try to tell stories in between. And one of the things I do is, because I am a filmmaker, try to basically do the films I want to do bridged with the reviews. So with the Star Wars stuff, they're essentially me rewriting the entire franchise. You look at the first 3, it's pretty much me rewriting the entire original trilogy. When you look at the prequels, it's like I'm rewriting the prequels. Same with the sequels. And the thing is, excuse me.
Hello, Jabba. You're looking delightfully thicker than last time we met.
It's funny when I'll say this. It's funny about that because I was originally going to go to a Comic-Con. The 501st group here in Ontario, they have a Jabba the Hutt animatronic full-scale set up that they put at Comic-Cons. And I was going to film that, but the problem was that on the day I came to film it, the damn thing wasn't working because of wire problems. So I had to go look up where I could find some Jabba effects, and I found some guy who made like a literal giant replica of the puppet on YouTube. So I just used that, which is funny. So when writing the prequels trilogy, it's me sort of retelling it how. Because I think the biggest issue with Star Wars is that every time a new movie comes out and the trailer's released, everybody immediately puts the whole fan fiction movie in their head of how they want it to play out.
Yeah.
And because of that, the buildup of that, it pretty much contradicts it when the movie comes out, and then everybody gets all pissed off it wasn't their fan fiction wet dream. So a lot of people say, well, they didn't do it this way, and I didn't like it. And to quote the great Lloyd Kaufman, make your own damn movie. I remember there was that petition to remake The Last Jedi and get Lucasfilm to do that. How about this? Take that money and make it yourself. If you can fund all that, do it underground, do it in secret, and then put it out.
Well,
you can have a hit on your hands.
Yeah. Okay, about that. Someone actually did a re-edit of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, some guy, I don't know. I don't remember what his name was, but it was. It's still The Last Jedi, but the guy did do a lot of small things to like improve that movie. Like I'm
not talking about fan edits. I'm more talking about like literally I would love to see a group of people come together because we have the technology as much as Hollywood does. In fact, there was a guy who recently got hired from YouTube to Lucasfilm after fixing up the deepfakes in The Mandalorian. So it's like, everybody has access to this amazing technology to do amazing special effects and film all this stuff.
Yeah.
So why not collab with our combined strength?
You are right. You are right, Jack. Because I feel like part of the reason why your stuff might look so well tacky, if you forgive me. It's
Don't
probably
worry.
because you're leading the charge on this. Like it's
Well, I mean, every film I make is a challenge, and yeah, there's going to be some issues because everything's sort of a winged experiment.
I mean, to be fair, like
yeah.
you are, like, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, you have been inspiring me, and maybe Kaiser too. I don't know, but to like do more green screen and actually like show our faces in the video.
Yeah, so it is. I wanted to get to the whole thing is like I look at like some of my favorite because I really do appreciate the fan film community because they sometimes put out great products that Hollywood wouldn't dare to do. And the thing is say you do remake The Last Jedi, but then you also decide screw it, let's also make Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates and let's do it as a full scale film. But we have to do it underground. We can't tell Lucasfilm. We have to crowdfund it somehow. We have to do this all in secret and then put it out, right? That's how you get films like Batman Dead End, which is an amazing short film where Batman fights the alien and Predator. It was all done by people who worked in the film industry at Stan Winston and all this stuff. There's a great documentary on it. And it was done underground. And then when they put it out at Comic-Con, it became the biggest thing ever because nobody knew about it. In the documentary, they even stated that the person who was actually going to be attached to play Batman at the time, believe it or not, was Sylvester Stallone. He wanted to play Batman, and he said he agreed to it because he respected the underground guerrilla filmmaking of it. It reminded him of Rocky in a sense. So, but then, like, obviously his lawyers got involved, and then he couldn't do it. So. The thing is like, if you do all this stuff, if you pretty much play the game that Lucasfilm does and JJ does with keeping it secret, keeping it quiet, do it all underground. But, like, that's how I did Kong, and Kong I'm actually making money on right now, because it's all done from scratch. There is no using other materials and stuff. It's working in a script that's completely original.
Oh, okay. And I don't want to cut you off here, but this is kind of relating to the question that was like submitted, I think, like an hour ago or something.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Were you surprised when they actually announced the movie Godzilla versus King Kong a year after you made the fan-made trailer?
Well, here's the thing. I've known about the movie for a long time. In fact, I've known about it since 2014 because they were announcing all that shit at Comic-Con. And so I knew it was coming. I was curious to know how they were going to do it. I was skeptical. I didn't know what was going to happen. And the thing is that we were deprived for a trailer for a long time. So at some point I said, well, screw it. I'll do it myself. Like, I felt like Thanos. I'm like, fine, I'll do it myself. And I just did this. And the thing is, when I make fan trailers, I try not to use footage from previous films. I think that's the biggest, like, flaw that a lot of fan trailers fall under. They keep using footage from previous movies. You've got to find footage and clips from other films that make it look new. And not basically realize, oh, okay, they're just using a clip from a previous movie. And you also got to crop it right. I think a lot of these fan trailers just always have the problem of cropping. So when I put that out there, I basically deliberately made it look like it was the official trailer, down to making it look like the previous trailers, using music that would associate. Like, one of the things I love about the Godzilla trailers is that they use classical music, things like the scene for 2001, the Comic-Con trailer for King of the Monsters used, that famous classical song. Skull Island, even that trailer for Comic-Con used stuff kind of that sounded like something out of Planet of the Apes, which I love, like the original Planet of the Apes. So with King of the Monsters, with Godzilla vs. Kong, the trailer I did, my first option, because it's a film soundtrack that I would love to hear in a Godzilla movie, is the soundtrack to Akira. And I hear that soundtrack to Akira. I'm like, this would fit, because, like, the guy who did Shin Godzilla, which is an amazing film, used a lot of music from Evangelion. I mean, I know he made Evangelion. So why not use Akira music for a Godzilla movie? Like, I think that would be terrifying. And I think that's the biggest. I go back and watch 2014, and I realized that was such a misfire. It was such a lie in the marketing, because I was expecting a dark remake of the original, same metaphors, but all we got was a Dark Knight-inspired Showa-era Godzilla movie.
Okay, go ahead, Labian.
Right. All right. Okay. I have a question about that. King Kong fanfic. Do
Yes.
you even remember that one?
The film I made,
Fucking
the feature
ask it.
film I made.
Yeah, it's this. I think it's the like the. Okay, what is that? It's like the script that was based on based on your fan film.
Yeah, the script. So you have a question about the script?
Well, I'm more like interested if you're gonna continue that fanfic.
Oh, that's on fan fiction. So the novelization. Okay.
Yeah,
So I've been really I haven't been on fan fiction in years because I've just been more focused on my work. The thing is, I do want to get back on that because much like all these franchises now, I am trying to play to their tactics. So any storylines I can't fit in the show fully, I do want to write sort of novels on to kind of explain how this happened. But unlike most people, I'm actually going to put out like fan trailers for them to say, here's the trailer, here's the kind of the visuals to give you an idea, and now here's the story available on fanfiction.net. With Kong, the Kong novelization, it's pretty much an expansion of the movie. But again, I just have not had time to write it, and it's just because of my work, and I barely even get time to write at all. Even writing current scripts are done at the 11th hour because I have to catch up. I'm so behind on the tracks. So if I had more time, I would definitely get back on that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm still kind of perpetually confused by just the idea alone that you apparently you made a remake of the is it a remake of the original King Kong?
It's pretty much a love letter to everything. It's all the Kong movies in one big sandwich. I mean, Kong is my favorite. The original and the '76 remake, I will defend to the death, are my two favorite movies. They are tied for number one. I can't live with either or. They're just my favorite films. And I love the '76 one because it's like that was a better remake than the Jackson movie because it did its own thing. It took the original source material and did something different. It brought it to the modern world, and it just made it more of a modern story. But the script for my movie is it's more based on an abandoned script for because in the '90s Jackson was supposed to do King Kong with Universal, and Robert Zemeckis was producing. They already had the cast assigned. Kate Winslet, George Clooney, and Robert De Niro were all attached. And the problem was they pulled the plug because, one, this was at the time Jackson was still making splatter fix. He wasn't like a big name at the time. And on top of that, Roland Emmerich's Godzilla, Disney's Mighty Joe Young.
It is funny you say that because I look like no offense or anything, but when I look at Peter Jackson doing King Kong, like I cannot help but feel like that is nothing but just a complete step down from like Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings is like some of the best shit you're ever gonna see in your entire life.
Oh yeah.
And then afterwards he just does King Kong. It seems like downright insignificant. But
well,
now
it's only because that was his favorite movie. That's his favorite movie, the original. And when he got canned in '96, he felt really kind of shit about it.
Exactly.
So when he did he was trying to prove himself. So when he did Lord of the Rings and it made billions of dollars and tons of Academy Awards, then Universal was like, "Okay, we'll give you the Kong. Go, do it."
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. So in a lot of ways, that movie does kind of feel like it didn't really need to be made.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it wasn't really a shot. I mean, it is sort of a shot-for-shot remake, but it is also a massive love letter to his favorite movie. He says it doesn't take away from the original, but this is just a loving tribute to say, here's the original in widescreen color, big budget, and expanding on that world. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think his original '96 script was a better product because they were pretty much saying, let's make King Kong, the original, but make it look like Indiana Jones. So let's go with like classy adventure. Like a lot of people say that The Mummy from '99 actually pretty much took that Kong script and rewrote it as a Mummy movie.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like I don't really, because the only King Kong I saw was the 1993 the original. And I did that.
Yeah.
I did that because I was sort of I did that because of AVGN's review. Funnily enough, I thought that. Well, I mean, Cinemassacres, but it's still AVGN in my eyes.
Yeah.
I think that movie is very good. Like it's certainly special.
It is the pure pioneer of modern Hollywood. Like No Kong meant nothing we have today. It's funny too because James actually does make a cameo in my remake.
Okay, I really want to watch it now.
Wait. Okay, I have watched that fan film multiple times, and I don't know.
Oh, come on!
And
if you put in someone that famous, like obviously you got to make him look like a zombie or something, so that nobody can recognize him.
It's actually what I call an audio cameo because I knew he really didn't have time. But when I was at a con, I said, "Do you want to just do a little minor cameo in the film?" And I just had him do as an audio cameo. He presents Carl Denham on stage. He's the announcer for that. So if you notice, you'll hear, "Oh shit, that's James." But
Okay.
oh man, I am looking forward to that stream because I'm gonna be in the background just laughing my ass off.
To be fair, I have absolutely no idea what I can expect. Like would you say that I should watch the 1997 movie as well? Because
I would suggest reading the script. Read the 96 script. It is widely available on the internet. Check sci-fi-scripts.com. That's where I get a lot of my stuff. That is a great website. You can find a bunch of old drafts for movies on there. But I would suggest just watching the original and the 76 remake. Shell Factory just put it out on Blu-ray with the extended cut, which is beautifully mastered. But do watch my remake. It took about 6 years. I was coming right out of high school. It was a bunch of my high school buddies. It cost me $4,000 to make. And it was very much a trial and error movie. Everything was a test, everything. So if the effects don't look the best compared to my later work, it was because it was a massive test.
Honestly, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like and this is not to like because I don't know what it's gonna look like. I haven't even seen any of it, but it kind of feels like it seems almost to me like you should have just made something unique because I think that would have almost been like better in the spirit of like like making like a project like this. But I mean I'm not knocking you or anything, but it's
okay.
Yeah, like it's I mean like dude, like you are very passionate. Like I would not be surprised if you make a real movie.
Well, that's where my YouTube channel comes in because and my review show, because it is me making these big movies, but it's still condensed in the world of what a lot of people. This is actually real. It's called the Reviewerverse. This is an actual thing.
I know it's the film reviewers up there on thing. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of the Reviewerverse.
Let's just say I'm going to be the next. I'm basically if let's just say if Channel Awesome was the original Star Trek, we're the next generation. So if Critic is Kirk, I'm Captain Picard, and I was always more of a fan of Picard than Kirk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do realize that I'm kind of a part of this with my own video now, but it's all right. Lavian, you clearly want to talk to now.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I have an idea for an like an King Kong animated miniseries. Like it's more like based on like your novelization. Well, it will definitely take place in 2013.
Go ahead.
It's yeah.
Is that it? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm totally up for that. Whatever you want to do, man. I see a lot of I get a lot of fans asking me, like, hey, you've inspired me to do my own version, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I want to see what these products are like.
Lavian, you're kind of nervous there, buddy.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's totally fine.
You fucking can detect that from a mile away.
Is that I want to ask a lot of questions, but I don't know which ones, and Repco keeps stalking, so
I'm in no rush. I mean, I can tell you're kind of like Superman and Man of Steel. I have so many questions.
Right. I have heard that way too much, and I know that I'm like basically perpetuating by saying this, but I have watched so many like movies that I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. like a movie where like a simple conversation would have fixed like the conflict of the characters. And it's just like I have so many questions. Explain. It's like, no, I'm not going to explain because we gotta keep.
Just be like JonTron. I have several questions.
We're going to keep this plot deliberately vague, boy.
Yeah.
I think the line from like Scout in TF2 actually helps like explain that like just perfectly because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like him saying that he has so many questions.
Yeah, what?
But do I need to like really search it up and play?
I have not even seen. I have not even heard that line before, and I played whatever. It's it's all good. I think that the person we're dealing with is not too.
Okay, question, Jack. About that Netflix's King Kong show, that 3D abomination.
Oh, that piece of Kong diarrhea. Ugh.
Yeah. Question: Did you watch any other episode from it? But
let me just say, when I found out that the first pilot was pretty much the length of a feature-length motion picture, that was enough for me. I looked at, because Brad and I were watching it, and we were miserable watching it, taking notes and stuff. It was kind of like a first viewing on Nostalgia Critic. It was bad, and I have no desire to go back to it. I know there's a second season. I know they cross over with the Tarzan Netflix show. I don't care. I really can't do it. I mean, I'll say this. I do want to go back. I do want to go back to the 2 animated Kong movies based on the 2000s animated series, because I feel like in hindsight, I gave that show pretty much a bad treatment in a very quick review.
Yeah, you kind of did.
And it's only because 1, I did kind of just pass by it. 2, I didn't talk about the 2 movies, which would make for a good review. And 3, I know a lot of the voice actors who worked on it. One of them was a friend of mine who passed away. But I feel like I kind of have to give it I want to give it a second chance, because all the animated Kong stuff has been absolute garbage, but I will probably give another chance with the 2000s show at least.
Man, Jack, you're very proactive, man. It's like we're two guys who like have the same interests, but whereas I'm accumulating like knowledge and wisdom, you're like traveling across the globe and like meeting.
I'm a pretty chill dude. I'm like Jeff Bridges and Big Lebowski. I'm one of those people that when it comes to like any kind of deep conversations and things about real life shit, I'm just like, fuck that. I don't care, because it just creates conflict.
Yeah.
All right.
I recently watched Big Lebowski, and it was. Yeah, I did love.
Wait a minute! Isn't that like movies? Doesn't that have that guy who's like, it's like everyone's going crazy? Am I the only one who gives a shit about the world?
Yeah, that's John Goodman in one of his probably the angriest he's ever been, and my favorite scene with his favorite line when he's smashing the car and he says, "Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass?" Now I want to see that reworked with him as Sully, and he's talking to Mike, and he's wrecking Mike's new car. Do you see what happens, Mike, when you fuck a human in the ass?
Okay.
Oh.
I love that.
Okay.
Maybe it's the scene with Trumbo. Like, I don't know.
when I find something not funny, I really don't find it funny. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, it's I also have a passion for movies and stuff. I'm just more figuring out how it all works, and I don't know. It's
well, I mean, like in terms of like my movie reviews and storyline, I don't know if this is changing the subject, but if the story's a little confusing, I am putting out compilation videos of just the plot elements, so people can easily catch up a little faster.
Yeah, something like what Linkar is doing with his story arcs.
But the thing is, like, here's the thing. Like, I know Lewis. He is sort of a friend of mine, a semi-friend. And I do like his formula. I do like his show. And I have no, because I know there's a lot of controversy with him right now. I have no say on the matter. I think it's just, I'll just say this about the whole CTC situation. I don't want to just outright say it out of respect. I think the entire thing on all ends was handled completely poorly. It was pretty much throwing people under the bus. It was tossing people in the spotlight. What should have happened, like what Steve Wilkos always says, if it's serious, you call the police. And no cops were called, no lawyers were called, wasn't taken to court, complete waste of time.
All right.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I wish what any of that was. Now, does anybody else have? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what?
All right. Yeah. What's
Okay, so I actually have like a legitimate question. Like,
all right? You haven't talked a lot,
as
so
soon as like left.
yeah. What? What is it? Yeah.
All right. Well, I okay. So stop me if any of you guys have asked this question before I was late to the game and got here. But what inspired you to to like make a YouTube channel and start all this in the first place?
Well, I started right around my second year in high school. I got on YouTube early in 2007 before there were all these complications on getting on. And I just started by because I was always a filmmaker first. I used to make really shitty movies with my parents' video cameras. And even before getting all the digital stuff, I was doing everything on YouTube with the old Lego Studios program from like 2000. I was editing everything on a school laptop that ran on Windows XP. So it was like the early days of YouTube. And my earliest videos were all these really shitty Lego movies. When I started making my Kong remake, it was right around the time I got a new computer, a new HD camera, and I thought, well, I have the technology, I might as well try it. And I was writing the script in 2010 after a trip to California, and we filmed this thing for like 6 years. But in between that timeline, I was somewhat doing reviews in the early days. They were absolutely awful. But when I started seeing like a lot more people jumping on it in 2013, the channel I have now, which was actually originally my second channel, I started posting on there to avoid copyright issues. And basically the first thing I thought of was I want to do some Kong reviews and do the history of it, kind of like how James did. It was pretty much a direct response to Monster Madness Godzilla-thon. I wanted to do basically Kong-a-thon before Kong-a-thon. And I jumped on it right away. I had a couple of friends with me. I was starting to go to more conventions, and I just started working all this in, and they were reviews first with a couple of jokes. And over time, they just kind of evolved into just where I am now, where there's storyline. Like, we didn't start really storylines until, I want to say, the third season of the show, because I think as we were getting bigger in like higher ups and everything, and once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we were starting to get money. And like, okay, well, let's really up our game, because at the time, once I left high school, I was working a couple of jobs. I was working as a sign shaker at a pizza joint to pay for the budget for the movie. So it was a lot of complications, and it just over time just led to me just getting this sort of, I wouldn't say a big following, just more of a cult following, like this sort of underground, like, group of fans, and then they go to other people and say, hey, have you heard of this guy? This guy's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it did kind of start there.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a storyline with my stuff. I just never really had much mental energy for all that stuff. Like, it's hard to say. Like, you seem to be a kind of guy who just does what he wants, and
without any interference from like studios and stuff. Exactly. I mean, a lot of the storyline on my show is elements from like stuff I was writing when I was like 13, like on like a notepad. Like, I feel like if you go, like, I have all this stuff in archives. There's like a little notebook that I just started writing these really crappy stories on, like handwriting and everything. So it's kind of like Tolkien when his first creation of Middle Earth was called the Book of Lost Tales, and he was just writing it on a notebook in the trenches of World War I. So it kind of felt like that, where you're taking all these ideas that you've written and backed up from like your teenage years, and now saying, well, let's pull them out and just find something to do. I feel like the kid in Shark Boy and Lava Girl with his freaking dream book. where he's just got all these ideas that he'd written down and he had no way to visualize it, but as an adult with income and everything, it's like, okay, now I can visualize these.
Wait a minute. Wasn't that just a game? What?
No.
What?
No.
Okay.
It's
Was a
a
movie.
game series and also a movie.
Well, no, Shark Boy and Lava Girl was that movie by Robert Rodriguez that had the kid with the dream book, and then there's like these two superheroes. One's played by Jacob from Twilight, and it was it was right after Spy Kids. Honestly, it's a good kids movie. Like I was a teenager when I saw it, and even I liked it. And then watching it as an adult, I'm like, this is a fun little kids movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
Forget it. I was thinking about a Flash game.
Yeah, I know that what game you're talking about. But yeah, I did remember watching.
I figured it out when you started to say what it was, because that game is called Water Girl and Fire Boy. It's something from my childhood. But yeah, I find it interesting because like I said before, like you just seem to do what like there's I've heard this theory before that there's like two different kinds of people. There's the the ones that do and the ones that don't. Like it's like you do stuff and you just go out there and you just get it done. Whereas I would rather sit down, think about it, and then maybe when I'm like 45 and I've accumulated enough wealth, I would make my first movie. Whereas you would already have made like 50 by that point on.
Well, I mean, one of the things I've learned, especially with film, because I always thought I could go to Hollywood and make movies, but honestly, having worked on one thing in the industry locally, I realized how complicated it was and how much it just sucked. And at the same time, YouTube was making more for me in terms of an audience and a profit. So I actually immediately, only doing one thing in the Hollywood industry, said, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. And especially the way it was treated, because I don't want to say what the show was I worked on, but it was very exploitive for television, and I hated it because you can't
all of them?
Well, the thing is, you can't, when they say, it was kind of a reality show, but the thing is, when they try to say, you think, okay, I could just be myself, no, you're not yourself. You're being yourself as written on a notepad last minute as sort of a handwritten script, because there's certain things you can't say on TV.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so I just realized there's more free. Like, I know YouTube has been having issues a lot the last few years, but if you find your niche and you know what you're doing, you can still put out your vision without any complications. I mean, even with me, there's some stuff that I'm like, either A, I'm concerned about putting out, or B, when I did put it out and it actually accomplished it, I'm like, I could not believe I got away with that. I mean, two examples, one which my next review on The Great Escape, which is one of the greatest movies ever made, the best World War II film, I point out that in terms of the characters, the bad guys, some of the bad guys are actually redeemable, especially given the fact they're part of the German army. But even I try to defend and saying, hey, I'm not sympathizing with these guys, but I'm just saying there were some good people in those ranks. In fact, veterans of that war even said they were the least evilified. And I do point that out in context to say, hey guys, before all you SJW cancel culture say I'm a Nazi sympathizer, I'm not. I think they're awful. They are the closest thing to Sauron of Mordor we ever had.
That would be the communists, but I got what you mean.
But it's like, yeah, so there's that. But then the other, before I let you continue, the other thing that actually is on my channel that I did get away with, and I was shocked, was if you go watch my Valentine's Day special, my 2-part Valentine's Day special from 2019, I did probably the most risque, racy shit I've ever done in my entire career. And what made it so worthwhile was, one, the algorithm actually was okay with it, but two, the reactions from the audience was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. I have still shots of friends reacting to it. I have comments saved that I hold dear to my heart. Like, one of them said, I hate you, because I ruined a character they really liked. They're just like, I fucking hate you. So,
okay. I
Oh.
Well, I really wish that I watched more of your channel because, in case you don't know, I've only seen the ones we have covered on the stream.
Well, all right. Okay. For me, I kind of like stopped watching your videos like after like before somewhere during your Dragon Ball Evolution
Yeah,
videos or
Lavim is not a Dragon Ball guy.
Yeah, I mean, I try to branch out to other things because I just don't want to be known as the King Kong guy. I do try to branch out on other stuff I want to talk about. I mean, even Legend is a movie that I only discovered recently, but I wanted to talk about it. That's another great review you guys should check out. I'm still waiting for that BigJackFilms BigJackFilms marathon.
I don't think I would be able to survive that.
I don't think I'd be able to survive either.
You would probably like you would probably like rage inspire me to the point where I would just be like, "Fuck this! I'm making my own movie. Fuck you all," and I would go do something else. Well, I always have that with. I don't think I don't think I've ever had that more than with you because you're like it's the difference between you and me is that you do and I think, and that's really getting to me. Is that because I could probably do something similar to what you're doing.
Even I just want to say because I watch all the stuff when you cover my videos, and there's always some great reactions from you guys. Like even like what was it when you found out that I'm friends with a lot of the voice actors on DBZ, and he's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my god, stop! You're gonna kill my heart. It's too funny." But what actually I realized, I think I couldn't see it because you guys are all like, you know, doing this as a podcast. But when you watch me beat the shit out of Goku, I could just see it in your voice, like, "Oh my god, he did it!" I think that's the best reaction is when like I get people saying, "Oh my god, he actually did it!" Like they're all having their Jurassic Park moment where they're like Jeff Goldblum in the back of the truck going, "He did it! The crazy son of a bitch, he did it!"
Yeah, I will say that really did stick out to me. Like you, like not to like you know deify you, but you really did the impossible there. Like I don't think that a live action dude fighting like an anime guy, fast paced, was ever going to like. I don't think it would take like $1 million to make that look good, but you just did it.
The original plan was to do it all with like professional cosplayers, like those fan films, but obviously it was too cost effective and too much time. So I thought, well, why don't we do it because my intention was, let's do it in the style of Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Space Jam, where it's like live action actors interacting with animation. And when I filmed all that on overnight, on an overnight time in my garage, I had all the shots prepped that were already pretty much done in the masking. So the trick was to try to, when you're filming something like, okay, I'm watching this shot, I got to make sure I match what the animation does. So it is a very time-consuming and choreographed process. And now I see sort of the efforts of things like Roger Rabbit and Space Jam and what they have to do to get these actors to interact with something that's that's pretty much not there, and then make the animation work around it. So it was a very
that's the best way to do it, because whenever you do it whenever you do something in that way, you usually succeed, because I do remember like Space Jam and stuff like that being very immersive to watch, despite clearly, you know, fake things or talking to real things.
It brings your childhood to life. You're like, oh my god, they're real. I actually just saw the sequel a couple of weeks ago, and you know what? I know a lot of people are bashing it. I went in with zero expectations. I tossed my brain out.
Wait. There's a fucking sequel to Space Jam?
Yeah, A New Legacy.
Hollywood!
All right. Okay.
I had fun with it.
Yeah. I recently did watch the original Space Jam. Like, I never fully watched it as a kid, and yeah, the movie was pretty fun. Don't know about the second one.
Here's what I'll say. My summary of the second one is it's not the first one, both in terms of not being a nostalgic memory for me because Space Jam's the only one that did that, but it's also not the first one because they completely go crazy with this one, because there are cameos in this movie where you're like, why the fuck? I don't care. I don't know why the fuck it's in here, but it's cool. Like, I don't care. I don't know if you guys give a shit about spoilers, but I mean, I'm talking cameos in this. Austin Powers, Kong, the Iron Giant, Rick and Morty are in this movie. You're like, why are you in this? I saw that one scene with Rick and Morty, and I'm like, I know this is stupid. This makes no goddamn sense, but you know what? I have the biggest grin on my face. I'm having a blast.
Is Michael Jordan in it?
No, he's not.
They lied. They lied about that in the marketing. Don Cheadle said he was in the movie, but it was a lie in terms of words. It's Michael B. Jordan. They tricked you to thinking it was Michael. They even tried to make it look like, oh my God, the Messiah has returned.
Who the fuck is the main character? Is it like LeBron James?
LeBron James, yeah.
It is the crybaby LaChina James, yes.
But here's the thing too with the movie is that
God, talking about trying to steal someone else's thunder.
I'll say this too about the movie is that whole controversy about Lola Bunny was fucking pointless because she's pretty much the same fucking thing in this movie. Like here's the thing, people are like, oh, they desexualized her. My furry fetish will never come true on screen. I'm like, look, first of all, you have the first one. Second of all, the internet
That's
exists.
not an argument.
Third off,
It's also not an argument.
Thirdly, I think they actually doubled down on it because there are shots in this movie where they show her bunny butt a lot in this one, and sometimes it's out of focus. Sometimes it's this. She does that Wonder Woman pose from Batman v Superman that everybody got a hard on for. And there's moments she's wrapped around a snake, and you know there's some sort of fetish for that shit. So. If you thought they cut down,
Replica's getting really, really uncomfortable with this. He's getting really uncomfortable with this.
All right. Yeah. I can.
Furries have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, but the only. Okay. All right. Let me finish, Replica. For fuck's sake, you have talked too much. All right.
Yeah,
there's one big issue. Lola in 3D looks fucking ugly.
It actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on your version of beauty, I guess. But
but it kind of reminds me of the early trailers for the Sonic movie.
Well, here's the thing. Once you watch it only shows up around the third act, but you know what? You get used to it, and it actually does kind of match pretty well. And by the end, they do go back to 2D, so it's only a temporary thing, but you get used to it. It's actually pretty decent for CGI. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're going to CGI, so because nobody wants to do hand-drawn animation. I at least appreciated seeing that style of animation back on the big screen because we've been so deprived of it for almost decades at this point.
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I mean there's even Back in Action was a good movie too. So.
Hello, Back in Action. Yeah, okay.
And yeah.
How did we go from Star Wars to Space Jam? I don't see that.
That's all your fault. That's all your fault, my guy. You could tell. I don't think I've ever done the as much as I did there.
He has not done that many times during a podcast ever.
I did not give a shit about that. To be fair, I was still that whole time you were talking. I was still more at the. Why would they make a sequel to this other than make money?
Because nostalgia and 90s kids now have a disposable income.
Fucking I'm not a 90s kid, but my uncle did not know when to just shut off the fucking TV when I came to watch. So I've seen a lot of 90s movies that I shouldn't have.
I mean, there's some that are pretty bad.
The 90s was full of those movies that just had constant unnecessary sexual jokes.
It was a mixed bag too, when it came to 90s.
Okay. You know one of the planned sequels for Space Jam was Replica?
Oh God, no! What the fuck?
It was called
Is it-
Spy. It was called Spy Jam, and it starred Jackie Chan.
Spy Jam?
With
Wasn't there
Jackie
also-
Chan.
Fuck.
Well, wasn't there also one with golf that was going to start, what's his name, Tiger Woods?
You know what? I would actually prefer Jackie Chan.
Okay, that's
I
okay.
would too.
Hello, fighting expert.
Hello.
This guy is our guy who knows about combat and stuff.
Well,
That-
to be fair, you know, what was I going to say? If they did that Spy Jam, I think that, like, I mean, outside of me, I think I'm the first person who's ever had a literal fist fight with a cartoon character. You never see that in any movie or TV show where, like, a cartoon character and a live-action person just throw hands. And me and Goku, that's the first time I think I've ever that's ever happened.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where, because my insane mind will probably just tell. But I do get memories and like visions of that now.
Where?
Fuck you. You fucking dickhead.
I've seen it. It was
I would
let's just
love
say
to
a
see
more
Jackie.
adult leaning cartoon
I'm gonna
with
go get some
Jessica
food. You
Rabbit.
guys continue.
All right.
I'll say this too, is like, now that I'm kind of part of the Discord group, God, I can't wait for the memes to show up about me, because I always get a laugh out of those.
What, you get memed on?
BigJackFilms memes, fam.
Oh, I get a few memes out there. I've had a few memes thrown my way, and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Like
Oh,
what?
Good.
I mean, I've seen like I'm trying to think of some ones. I mean, like, a lot of people go to my Valentine's Day special, and the last shot they say that's a meme face. So I've had that still shot thrown at me all the time. In fact, let me see if I can find that, and I'll put that in the chat so you guys can just have your fun with it.
Yeah. Let
me take a look for that.
Michael, you are not the stream. In case you're actually watching it, no, you're not the stream, dude. Sorry. I hate to tell you, but you're not.
Yeah. I am the danger.
Just trying to remember where this the meme came from.
It'll
take me a sec.
I totally forgot that Oliver was in this call. For a second.
Sorry, I've been quiet for a bit.
It's fine. A lot of us have been
Well,
quiet.
I thought I would join because why not?
I probably made this stream a little better in engagement and conversations.
Yeah, probably.
Also, the fact that you are probably the most civil of the people we've covered and engaged with.
Yeah, because I just don't like conflict. I don't like all that. Like, I mean, unless it's really deserving. Like, my rule is, if you're nice to me, let me put it like this: if you throw a flower at me, I throw a bouquet. You drop a bomb, I drop Hiroshima. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay. I have to apologize for you with my ranting on your Star Wars videos.
No worries, it's all good. I can take the heat.
Yeah, I don't hate you. I have some. I do disagree on something, especially with the fights in
Don't
DB
get me
Evolution.
started about the fight scenes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll say about the fight scene with Goku. I think at the same time that was also around the time that people were saying, "Oh, can this person beat Goku? Can this person?" I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put that shit to rest right now.
Yeah, you can defeat Goku and no one else.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
Only
fuck it.
BigJackFilms can do it.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. Is like half of my projects, people say that's impossible. My response is, fuck it, do it. You know, that's my rule about life with everything. Just sometimes you got to look at life and all the shit thrown at you and just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
So that's my rule about a lot of stuff. I think Hollywood even now. I'll say this about Hollywood: there's a lot of movies coming out this year that. Like, they're really dumb and stupid, but they're very creative and imaginative. Like Godzilla vs. Kong, Space Jam, even I've heard Suicide Squad is great, so I do want to go see that because Hollywood's sick of being like safe, nostalgic. I think the 2010s we're entering the end of the nostalgia of selling everything. Now I think we're going to take more creative chances and risks, and on top of that, I think the biggest thing that's going to start selling this decade's worth of movies is going to be the multiverse stuff because with the Flash and the Spider-Man third one, which is overly hyped, by the way.
Yeah, everyone's going multiverse stuff.
It's going multiverse now. We're going to the multiverse, and you know what? I'm cool with that. I was thinking about this shit when I was 13, so it's like now Hollywood's catching up on me. So
now, throwing my 2 cents in, I actually think we've entered and been in a creatively bankrupt society when it comes to making movies and shows.
All right. Okay. Question, Jack. What do you think of the upcoming Star Wars series Visions?
is that the anime?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bro,
The one.
I am hyped as hell because it's like take 2 of my favorite things and have them make love and give birth to a beautiful fucking baby boy. Abso-goddamn-lutely.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm also interested in seeing
Let
this.
Star Wars and anime fuck. It's taken this goddamn long.
Yeah.
Let them fuck.
Jack,
I'm also in. Sorry.
I have to say that it hasn't taken this long. There is actually independent authors that have created Star Wars stories of manga. I own a manga of it, and it is awesome.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like professionally licensed stuff. It's like it took you this long, Lucasfilm. Like, I mean, even George. Like, there's a documentary, an interview with George about the 2D micro series Clone Wars, where he said about the animation style. He said it has a slight anime feel to it, and I'm always interested in anime. So George is a freaking weeb. So I'm like, that even adds more points for him.
Which is hilarious. Because now a lot of like professional animators for anime take inspiration from George.
Yeah, like it's all
actually kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, and one thing I also find interesting is that there's another something similar with the Star Wars anthology, though it's a comic called Star Wars Visionaries. Star Wars Visionaries, Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, I think they're running out of
I guess
titles.
it kind of fits.
Yeah.
And the last thing before I leave, when it comes to like Star Wars Visions, I am interested, but I'm also waiting to see how Disney fuck this up because they have a tendency to do that. Yeah.
Well, you know what's definitely going to be coming out of this for sure is wait till all the anime cons start opening up around that time because that means you're going to see a bunch of new cosplayers show up.
That's right.
Which is hilarious because I'm marrying a cosplayer.
Oh, that's adorable.
Ooh.
I want to say too is that the thing is I know why Lucasfilm is probably doing this is because the anime community every year is getting bigger, more powerful. Why do you think DC and Marvel are struggling and are bashing manga because they hate the fact that it's getting more than them? So Lucasfilm's like, well, we should probably get this audience involved. So why don't we make a Star Wars anime to draw their attention? And it's funny because I know a few people who are huge into anime but never got into Star Wars. And then I show them the visions and they're like, okay, I want to see this now. I might become a Star Wars fan. I'm like, okay, just brace yourself for the amount of almost religious nutballs with this fan base because they will drive you insane.
Yeah, true. Like they will drive you fucking nuts. And I'm like I'm a fucking like religious Lucas hexology fanatic. So
same.
I've never heard that term before. Lucas anxology. What? My god.
No. It's the term hexology, and it's a reference to 6 films. That's particularly like a saga. Hold on, let me actually like get the real definition of the word hexology.
I'll say this: I'm not a member of this group at all. However, I do think it is a very fine, interesting little hobbyist religion. but there actually is a church of waifuism, and I'm like, that's kind of cute. I kind of like that. So,
Yeah.
but that.
To Jack, just to put things into perspective, like when you said it was cute that I'm marrying a cosplayer, she is a woman that will gladly kill you in a heartbeat.
Well, that's the thing, man. I just want to let you know, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, you lucky bastard. And third off, that's what every guy, look, here's the thing. I think, because I see all the, look, I'm not into the dating scene right now. I think it's toxic. I think it's stupid. I think it's annoying.
Agreed.
There's not many good people around. But the thing is like, I think a lot of guys secretly, when it comes to what they look for, it's why you're seeing sort of a rise in what's called waifuism, because a lot of these characters we grew up with as kids are what we seek in women, and the vice versa for girls and guys. You know, like they look for their husbandos, we look for our waifus, and it's because they have good personalities, they have good characters. It's not the fact. Look, attractiveness is pretty much an open range of whatever the hell you want. But when it comes to personality and characters, some of these chicks that we grew up with who are just 2D animations are more dynamic and real than any woman in real life. Now,
Amen.
I will say though, I'm not going to go into fucking Christian territory and say that they're 100% real. I just discovered that recently, and I'm traumatized for life. But at the same time, it's like, they have better dynamics, they have better, and I know they're essentially created and written, but it's like, I look at all the Sailor Scouts and Sailor Moon, and I'm like, can women be more like these chicks, please? Thank you.
Yeah, give us less
Right.
like crazy condescending bitches, and give us these like.
Yeah, give us the Sailor Scouts.
Give us actual feminine women, not feminists.
Yeah. Give us Ripley from Alien. Give us an actual Princess Leia. Give us Android 18. God damn it.
Yes, that's exactly, dude. That'd be fucking badass if he had like an Android 18 in real life. I mean,
Well,
I
that's
feel
it.
bad
Well,
for
in my
her,
show.
but-
Well, I do that in my show.
Yeah,
Like,
true. I see that.
So
Yeah,
it's great. Like
or
the person
just, yeah,
the actress I work with, she's a wonderful talent, and we do want to work on more stuff. But the pandemic has really kind of had us where we can't really work much because of what's going on. But we're hoping by 2022 things pick up. But one of the best actors and shit I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
Well, good. I hope to work with with a nice cast of people one day. Hopefully, I'll see you guys later.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
I will
All right,
I will say this too is like, I'm actually, because like we have in total of 18 like actresses who come in. We have a total of like 4. One's a cosplayer. One is known on YouTube as Bayteen, and she does one of the best interpretations of the Funimation dub. The other is Queen 18. She's from the UK, but the other one is and she doesn't really work with us, but we're really good friends with her because she actually did watch our stuff, and she said that's actually really impressive. Is Meredith Malden, the actual voice actress from Funimation? I'm friends with her. She is one of the nicest ladies I know, and just to kind of have that blessing from her is like, that's just okay. My work here is done.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of the voice actors from the anime community, they're some of the nicest people imaginable.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I'm friends with like all the actors on the original dub of Sailor Moon because that show was actually dubbed here locally in the 90s. So a lot of them are really good friends of mine. And it's funny because like they did a bunch of reunion tours. That was partially my fault. And the last time I saw them all together, I was just talking with them because they let me talk to them all the time. And they said, and I just told them in passing, I appreciate you guys coming in. And Ron Rubin, who voices Artemis, looked at me and said, well, you're one of us now, kid. And then they all looked down on me in a row. It was like one of those magical, like you've joined the band moments. And I'm like, my work here on this planet is done. I have filled my purpose.
Yeah. It's always cool, cool to see your favorite meeting your favorite actor in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I've met a few of. I have met a few. I'm trying to think like live actors. I mean, I've met Mark Hamill a few times. I've met John Rhys Davis. I met Gary Kurtz before he died. He was the producer on the original Star Wars. I've met James a few times, talked to Dog a lot. I talked to a lot of people in and outside of Channel Awesome. They're actually they've all been nice to me. So
The closest thing I have ever met to a VA was, like, I heard a story that from my mom that she was in a camp and met someone who dubbed animated movies in Latvian. That's the closest story I ever come out where someone someone I know personally has met a VA.
yeah, I mean, it depends on where you play your cards. I mean, I would recommend going to more Comic Cons because that's where a lot of the community you get to make connections and stuff to shit. That's where they mostly shine.
Yeah, sadly, going to America, traveling to America is harder now. Is a lot harder nowadays, or even Canada.
We're just waiting for things to like the problem is like I mean I don't want to get into it, but there are a few bad eggs right now that are making things that are really putting a lot of stop signs on the tracks, and it's like you just want to just knock them the fuck out and carry on, you know?
Yeah, just want one day to just rip off that sign that says "Please put your mask on when going to the store."
Well, it's just sometimes some of the like biggest problems in the world can just be settled with a fist to the face and then carry on with your day, but nobody has the balls to do that anymore. So that's just how it is.
Well, to quote the Joker, we live in a society.
Oh, that's the thing. Like that movie was a masterpiece, and people saying, "Oh, it's going to bring on an incel movement." No, it brought up look. I think that movie pretty much was saying, we're saying that the government's kind of fucked up, so y'all better fucking rebel. And look what happened in 2020. So people who were saying, oh, it was a call to insults, no. You just use that as a smokescreen to say, everybody, don't rebel. This is a terrible idea. But we don't want to say it because we don't want to just spoil everything.
Then again, if the rebellion isn't, if the rebellion is Antifa, then yeah, better not rebel.
Again, I don't want to get too much into politics. I don't know. Let's keep it to the movie stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that was a bit overstretching it. Okay, I think I'm running out of questions.
If you have any questions about the show or my movie or whatever, just I'll answer them right away.
Okay. Question. Okay.
I have one.
How much more King Kong media has left?
I'm just gonna keep going because that makes me money. That does keep the lights on in some capacity. I do have plans for a few more episodes for the rest of the year, and I am going to continue going with the rest of the show. But I am trying to basically merge the basic shows that aren't Kong and kind of merge them essentially into one continuity. So, yeah. Which they are. They are all part of the same story.
Yeah. Will you review? When will you review Godzilla vs. Kong?
So the plan on my end is that's going to be the season finale for the year, and it's going to be around December, because normally with a movie like that, especially a new movie, I wait a couple of months after it's released. I wait till it's out on home. I wait till it's out on home video. Yes.
You made a fan-made trailer like a year before it was announced. That's
and it's my highest rated. It's my highest rated video at like 3 million views.
That's like your big time foreshadowing moment.
Well, because I already knew the majority of what the movie was going to be about before it came out. So, because I saw a lot of leaks.
You knew it before it was announced.
Well, like, I knew about the leaks. I knew about a lot of the leaks. I knew about Mechagodzilla. The one thing I did know, the reason I know a lot of this is because, much like if you saw James's review, I was actually, at one point, offered to fly down to Australia and be in the movie as a cameo, but I had to decline because I was too overstocked with work.
Wait, you were almost in Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yeah, I was gonna be kind of as a background extra or something, just for shits and giggles, but I couldn't get down there at the time.
Oh, So James Rolfe stole your credit.
No, we were both offered. Like individually, I didn't find out about his offer until his review came out. So I'm like, I guess we were both offered at the same time.
Yeah,
Cool.
I know. I know when my friends were kind of offered to be in like I don't know, like being an extra in Z Nation. But sadly, it didn't work out. But it would have been cool to see him as a zombie, because he's a big fan of that genre.
I will say this. I will say this, guys. If you guys do plan to do that stream, just watching my remake, please do, because that's almost at 1 million views. It's like got 50,000 more to go.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
Alright.
it's I don't know if you've seen you probably don't even know about my channel, but
I mean, I kind of I'm on the Script Coroners channel. I have subscribed to you guys. I will say this though. I misspelled it for a long time. I thought it was called Script Corners.
yeah, I know there's
Yeah.
like a space in between there. I had absolutely nothing to do with the name that was designed. That's just something that Lupus came up with, our cameraman. Airborne? Really? Airborne? Huh. Well, I told you
God
guys.
damn.
I told you.
Then again, yeah, I also
we-
mistaken.
Well, anyways,
I've also
we all
mistaken-
own separate YouTube channels besides that. I guess I am the closest thing to you in a way. Like, the difference between you and me is that I do it digitally, and I am also a lot less proactive about it. But that's for more personal reasons. I'm trying to get more active. But yeah,
I tell a lot of people this because I'll be honest, because like I know a lot of people in your position who want to achieve goals but are a little bit insecure about like trying to break out because of just complications with life and stuff. And like I said, sometimes you just got to push the door open, put your foot out the door, and say fuck it. And it does. And once you put the first step out, that just brings out a lot of your courage, a lot of your strength, and it opens the door to everything. Everything in life is Pandora's box. So it's like once you do that, you can just keep going for as much as you want. It just does take a lot of effort to put that first step in the door.
I've been thinking about doing like a review of the first or of Dawn of the Dead. I'm not sure how I would do it, but I guess I think I am pretty. I think I am like not to toot my own horn too much, but I think I'm pretty good. I just how do I put it? It's like, okay, obviously, you know what you said, you know, but it's more just that I'm tired. Like I'm always tired. Like it's just, but I'm also tired of being tired. It's weird to describe. Like it's I don't know. It's an interesting situation. Like I think a lot of it is explainable by how fucking crazy the world has been for the last few years. Like,
if it helps, one thing I've done is it's kind of like quitting cigarettes. I have stopped watching mainstream news media for like 5 months, and I feel so much better. I feel so less stressed, so less making quick, tough, rational decisions. And I know a lot of people who I told this about have followed suit, and they say, "Wow, I actually feel a lot better." So
Jack,
watching
I haven't been watching news media for like the last 6 years.
And I haven't watched it a long time.
Like this is like heavy duty level. Like I guess I don't know. Like just I kind of hate to say it because you don't want to think yourself as a victim of it. But yeah, I mean, like it's you know how it is. Like
the news media has pretty much gone from actually telling stories to every channel becoming essentially the National Enquirer, or essentially the equivalent of the Daily Bugle. Like I guarantee J. Jonah Jameson is running all these, just saying, make a story about a fake virus, and then give me a picture of Spider-Man.
The difference is that J. Jonah Jameson ultimately has a heart.
Exactly.
Like, I think a lot of these people don't have hearts. I struggle to believe they even have souls.
Like I would love to see a redo, like not a redo, but like an adaptation of Spider-Man where Spider-Man works for a big news company like Fox News or CNN just to see how
Yeah.
scummy they are. And like
I-
they basically are everything that makes J. Jonah Jameson a complete dipshit.
Yeah. Like it's. I mean, at that point, I would. If I wrote that, I'd probably make it a thing that, like, early in the movie, he just completely trashes like the main office he works in, just for fun before he even becomes the superhero. You know, and like that's like that would also be a good way to like start like the hatred of the like news or James Jonathan character towards him. But yeah, I don't know. I think I could get very big very quickly. It just depends on if I ever get the strength to actually make a big video. I mean,
Well, I'll just say that shouldn't be the priority. Your intention should be just to entertain people. It should just be just to entertain people and just yourself and not thinking about the success. The success should essentially be a bonus level.
Oh, well, I mean, like, it's okay. I have like 400 subs or something. What I want from YouTube, like the main thing I would say I want is to just have people watch my stuff and then tell me if they like it or hate it or not. Like, I don't really get. Yeah, I know that fucking sucks, but I mean, like, I don't really get that. You know, it's not big enough for that. So I'm always like, oh, fucking hell. If only I could get like 25 people to just watch my stuff constantly. I like it so much more than how it is now. You know, that's like the only thing I'm sort of jealous about, I guess you could say, with like bigger YouTubers, is that they're always guaranteed to get a lot of feedback. Like, it's like, it really is like a case of like months before like a guy comes and is like, "Hey, I really like your content. I really like what you make."
That's the biggest challenge when you're a YouTuber, especially when you're starting up. You have to have a great deal of patience for what you're doing. Even when I'm doing any kind of big project and I have my ambitions are really high and my ideas are going everywhere, I'm thinking how I can do this practically. But all the time, whenever I come up with those, I go to a quote that George Lucas once said to Irvin Kershner when he was filming Empire. George had told Kershner, "Don't expect things to work." Basically, you've got to take your expectations. If your expectations and your ambitions and stuff are 100%, you've got to bring that down to at least 50 to almost 25%. And when you do that, you're guaranteed a much healthier way of working on things and a much better way of getting things done.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the random chance as well as the frankly, the fact that it just depends on the sophistication of your viewer to like understand what you're making, because it's I wouldn't necessarily say that I am. Well, it's very easy to misjudge someone like me when I say that I'm more intelligent than others, but I see things other people don't, and like I would be one of those people who, if I make a review about a movie, it's almost always going to be hours long because I would want to, like, I'm just really ambitious about stuff, and consequently I don't really make a lot of things. It's
everything in life, I'll just say this, is a roll of the dice, especially nowadays. Everything is going to be a gamble.
Yep.
And like you said, like, if there's a chance, take it. I put it the equivalent of, if there's the train that's going to lead to Opportunity Station, do you hesitate and think about others and like your current lifestyle, or do you say, fuck it, I gotta jump on this for my own sanity? I just jump the train half the time nowadays.
Well, I mean, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, my first question to you would be, is like, well, I mean, the first thing I would say is, I'm not sure if New York looks like a nice place to live, if you get what I mean. You know,
it's not that it's a nice place, it's just way too fucking expensive.
No, what I mean is that, like, you know, like how in GTA 4, like they call New York like the land of opportunity, you know, I just like yeah, like it's my best videos are the ones I never expected to be successful, and I mean,
videos get like 15K views.
Yeah, like that one got a
that
shit
one?
ton of views, and all I did was just place a few sound effects in it. Like it was nothing special. But yeah,
My
like
most successful video was one just showing people how to do something. It's not even entertaining. It's just like
yeah, that's exactly my video too. Like the video that showed you how to mod Half-Life 1. Yeah, I think that's what I like about you, Jack, is that you're doing what I think about doing, and you're you're doing it pretty successfully. So it's kind of giving me some ideas that maybe this wasn't such a bad idea after all. I mean, I wasn't exactly all in on the whole live action stuff, but I I had a lot of ideas for like digital ways of like doing what you do. Like it's like I take like characters in like you know, a game world or something, and then I animate them and you know, and then they like talk about the thing. That's what my newest video is essentially about. Also expected that one to do a lot better, but it's
what's the name? Phantom
no,
Barris?
I I don't think he did. I did send it to him maybe. I don't know, but it's very it's that yeah, that video is like pretty similar to what you do, I guess. So it's I don't know. It's just maybe it's minds thinking alike. Maybe it's just some guy just having far more gumption than another guy. But I don't know. I definitely like that. Like, and I also
half just fooling around and like the Fortnite dancing soldier.
oh shut up.
Walking.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll say this: the whole Fortnite, Minecraft, all that. I'll be honest. I don't do current gaming. My cutoff date was the 360. I'm a retro gamer, so anytime you talk about current, if you ask me, hey, you should try this current game, I'm like, I have no way to play it. I have no interest in playing it because nowadays you have to pay $1,000 a console, $100 a game, and you're only getting half the game. Oh, you want to play the rest of the second half? Pay a monthly subscription. Fuck that shit. Just give me the game on the cartridge, let me blow it, put it in the console, and play the fucking game.
Pay to win.
Well, it's not like Jack doesn't have a point. I mean, all the games I play are from like 2004 and 5.
Yeah, I mean, like my top 3 favorite video games of all time, hands down, are Jurassic Park Arcade from '94 by Sega. That is a masterpiece of an arcade.
All right.
The original Star Wars Battlefront 2, not that new EA shit.
I love that game.
Current gaming, actually, I do play that on Steam on the online stuff, and that shit's fun. But number one, like my favorite game, it's a simple game, is Aladdin on Super Nintendo. It's made by Capcom. That was my childhood video game. Like, I can play that all the time and never get bored by it.
All right. Well, I mean, I believe you. I don't really know how we got here. You didn't necessarily need to mention that, Lupus, but yeah, I just have a lot of respect for you, and I believe that. Well, I hope that I certainly hope that you can become the next big one, because I think not only do I think you got the right attitude for it, but you're also just, I don't know, you know, like you're just a nice guy to listen to, I think.
I do appreciate that, because I do try.
Not that
bad.
Yeah, all right.
Well, it's the algorithm, and the word needs to get out. I think the best.
It's the world has bias against Jack because he's Canadian. It's like Tom
No,
McDonald.
I think it is the algorithm, but I find the best way to get out there and actually make a name is that the word just needs to be spread out. You need to put out sort of an underground campaign and just let people who are dedicated enough to spread the word and say, "Hey, check this guy out. He's actually really good." You know, I
mean that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Another one I got.
You know, people are
we need to find what aspects of that made it go to like 1.5 million views, and you have to apply it to every video.
It is also about, like, because the thing, I mean, like, nowadays people are just lazy and they only look up what the algorithm tells them to. I like the old way where everybody had what's called free will, but if you're well organized and you're well planned and you can just spread that shit around like wildfire through like talking about it, not just like typing it or linking it. It's just like, hey guys, spread the word, let other people know, because the whole thing about one person tells somebody, and then they tell two people, and then they tell two people, and so on, and so on, and so on. And it spreads like essentially a virus, basically. So, I mean, if you want to get me up there, all you have to do is just let everybody you know recommend me, and then it'll get me higher up. And that's all you have to do in situations like this. Especially if you can't beat the algorithm.
I've been doing YouTube for a while too. I know how it works. Thanks, Jack. I'm more just saying that you deserve it. Like I mean, I hope it's gonna happen, but it's I don't see it necessarily happening that quickly.
Well, the thing is, I'm fine where I'm at, no matter what.
Yeah.
I just like if I get some extra bonuses, if I get some sponsors at some point, if I start getting more money my way to make more videos, it's like, hey, I'm grateful for that, and that's just a bonus. But my main goal is let's just make some fun. Like, I mean, yes, I make reviews, but half the time, every review I make, I'm like, all right, let's make a movie. Let's just make because that's I think my niche is. I do reviews, but they're also movies because they do allow me to put my vision out there without spending thousands and millions of dollars on budgets.
I do think that you should try and get the because like I think the movie parts of your reviews almost seem to be kind of the point of them. Like I do kind of wish that you would try and put a little bit more substance in just the general like what you're talking about because. Like, not to say that you don't do that, because I do feel like you address, like, the core of what makes something good. In fact, I am almost 100% certain that that is, like, the reason why we started to like you. Because if you remember, when I was watching it, I, like, at a certain point, like, it was, I think it was, like, the point where you wanted to destroy the special editions with a sword, but then stopped yourself from doing it because... you recognize there was still some intrinsic like value to it.
Technically, that USB had the original unaltered versions, and I was planning to basically destroy Star Wars as a whole. That was the point. Like, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I'll say this. Like, one thing I've gotten a little bit annoyed by lately is how much the video essay era of YouTube reviewers and stuff has been coming about. Like, yes, I love them. They are very educational. They are very informative. But one, they go on a little too long, and two, it's just pretty much trying to basically create essentially, almost campaigns for things. My reviews are very simplified, very to the point. Here's my opinions on certain things. Here's things I want to talk about. Here's little things I want to mention. I take a lot of influence from not just, obviously, Nostalgia Critic, but obviously Monster Madness. Even Oliver Harper, who does these amazing retrospectives, I take a lot of cues from. But at the same time, it's more about being opinionated rather than being an educational person, although I do try to do that. But
it's, okay, like, I understand that, Jack, and, I mean, like, but it's... how do I put it? It's like, stuff like the prequel hate era, like...
oh, we're past that.
Like, that stuff like that happens because a lot of these reviewers and a lot of the ones you respect, I mean, like, I watched a lot of them, too, back in the day. But, like... I mean,
I still like the Plinkett reviews, but I watch them to get laughs, not to actually take his opinion seriously.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is that they're not really reviews. They are just, they're just someone's opinion, like, on it. And it doesn't really, like, it doesn't ever really go further than, like, the surface level, like, way how the reviewer, like, perceives it. And I kind of, I would like it if, like, there is some kind of, at the very least, like, make it clear to people that, I don't know. It's just hard to say. Like, what I kind of, like, one of the objectives that I have, and one of the things one of the points I want to make clear with, like, script co-owners is that you shouldn't just be able to, like, sit down on your fat ass and just go, like, well, this movie is bad because this, and this, and this. And this was good because this, and this, and this. Like, there needs to be more to it than that. And
exactly. Like, I mean, I'll say this: there's a couple of YouTubers out there who make a lot of these. Like, we get it, everybody. You don't like The Last Jedi. I don't care. It's one of those things, like, I get it, but at the same time, I think, like, when people just constantly go about one thing, it gets really annoying. There's one YouTuber that I won't say who he is, but the way he does his essays, it's just his voice is so annoying. Because half the time, his voice. You remember those Force Action lightsaber commercials by Hasbro that had like the spring lightsaber come out, and the guy's like, Force Action lightsabers, blah 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 blah. This is my voice doing the entire review. Like, it's like, can you talk differently at least? You know, there's just some out there, and also the ones that just hate for the sake of hating. It's like, we're past that. Like, there's nothing wrong with the angry reviewer, especially if it's played for comedy. But on my end, that's why I did my show as a more positive viewpoint on certain movies. Like, even movies that people hate. Like, I saw Nostalgia Critic cover Felix the Cat. Yes, it's a bad movie, but it's a guilty pleasure for me. I actually kind of love it. So there's some movies out there, like, I try to give a positive take to.
Well, I mean, like, I do think you're on the better end. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm mainly just telling you this so you can understand it for the future. Well, like I said, like, I feel like the environment before allowed, like, critics and, because, like, you know, like, I think a lot of people, anyone who's, like, a serious critic would know that people on YouTube are just enthusiasts for the most part, you know. But
exactly.
But not, of course, not all of them, but, like, the majority of them are. However, like, the layman is a complete jackass because, well, the layman doesn't know anything. So if he takes, you know, like, the random, well, just frankly, just subjective, like, opinions of one guy who then forces it through, and then everybody else starts to copy him, you can get, well, frankly, some movies that just aren't bad can be labeled as really bad, even though they don't deserve it. Like, you know, I mean, the prequels are, like, a very obvious example of that, but there's like, Terminator 3 is really not a bad movie.
Oh, I love Terminator 3. Like, I want to go on a bit of a tangent there, just forgive my interruption, but I think the biggest issue, because I hated Genesis and I hated Dark Fate, and it's not because of what they were going for, it's because it retconned the continuous story. The reason I like, a lot of people hate 3 and Salvation. I actually like Salvation and I like 3. And the reason for it is because compared to the later sequels, they are consistent and continuing the story. And I feel the later sequels should have picked up after Salvation, because Salvation was going for something new, something different, not something safe. And it was just like, here's where I was hoping for a circle story, basically, where you start one place, and then when you end it, you're back to where you started. So the last movie should have ended with Kyle going back to 1984 and just showing the first few minutes of the first movie, cut to black, and then say, now go watch the original again, and now we're just going to go around. And
like, it's honestly sad that the 2 sequels that Salvation had were both canceled. Like,
it's like they had a good direction and where to go, and I even thought about, like, I don't know if you've seen all those people who do these sort of, like, here's how I would fix this franchise, here's how I would do this installment and everything. I mean, I love them or hate them, but I saw Movie Bob saying how I would fix the Spider-Man franchise. Now, here's the thing. His ideas were a little wonky, but he was going in the right idea of, like Tobey Maguire, could have come back, but I'm glad he's coming back for this one from what I've heard.
But he's coming back?
Him and Andrew Garfield are back. The new Spider-Man is supposed to play on the multiverse theory thanks to the Spider-Verse movie.
Nice.
And also, I think Tom Hardy's going to show up as Venom.
Okay.
So the thing is I kind of like that idea of saying, here's how I would do the sequel. So I thought about doing one. I have sort of these pitches for all these ideas. Like, for Terminator, I would just go back and pick up right after 4. And one of the things I would do for consistency is have it where, because we see all these Terminators go back to protect these people, but we never see how they are programmed to do so. We never see them try to get in the CPU and fix them up. And I thought of the concept that one of the origins of that concept would be that we have Christian Bale back as John Connor, but he's working with a Terminator. So that's another thing I want to see.
Oh yeah,
Terminators fight Terminators.
I mean, if you remember, Terminator 3 essentially said that, like, they say in Terminator 3 that, like, John Connor gets, like, murdered, but he was killed by the Arnold Terminator in that movie.
And they establish in Salvation that the events of those have altered the future, so that might not happen. It's a butterfly effect. Yep. I wanted to get to the point is that my concept is that John does team up with an Arnold Terminator, but here's the catch. It's, first of all, we do it completely as a skeleton. No Arnold. It's just I just think a talking skeleton with Arnold's voice sounds hilarious and awesome. But second of all, the skeleton is actually a T-850, and it's actually the T-850 from Terminator 3, because the last shot in 3 shows the skull after the fallout just shutting down. But if you notice where it is, there's still a possibility that the CPU is still intact in the skull. So why not have it where somebody collects that skull, puts the CPU in a different skeleton, and now you have the same 850 model in maybe an older model helping John out?
An idea. I mean, like, I'm not sure why you say he's a T-50 because T-850, because that's what he is in Terminator 3.
Yeah, in Terminator 3, but it's the same model, but he just puts himself in an older model, like an 800 model, just to pass the time. And then that way, and hell, like, even why not take elements from, like, say, the old arcade game? Let's have some golden Terminators, you know, like something like that. But I just like the idea that maybe the Resistance starts reprogramming Terminators to fight back against the machine. So it's like Terminator on Terminator. And then once you get to the last movie where it's like the whole final battle of the future war, not only do you show, like, Kyle Reese using the time machine, but why not have a scene where John kind of looks in the corner of the battle and sees Arnold and a young version of himself riding to the Skynet pyramid? Because one of my favorite installments of the Terminator movie is the ride at Universal.
Are you talking about, like, that? Yeah, that fucking ride is that was cool.
Because in the ride, they established that they go to the future on the day of the final battle between humans and Skynet, like the last battle, where they won. So it's like, why don't we see some kind of bridging the continuity where Terminator 2 3D did actually happen in the continuity, because Cameron even stated when he made that was going to be his sequel. So it's like, add that aspect to that final scene. So like, have Christian Bale kind of look in the corner and he sees like T-800 and John in a quick little shot on a motorcycle taking off, and he knows, okay, they're going to handle the problem for us. Let's get to the time machine. So it kind of evens out where it's like, because it's almost like they don't know how to defeat Skynet, but when John sees those two, he's like, okay, don't worry. Those guys have it covered. Let's go to the time machine and save us the trouble. kind of play with the time travel aspect.
I'll just say this. I'll say this. Like, I don't know how well that would work. I have a similar idea with, I have a similar feeling about, like, the two sequels to Salvation. No idea how that would work, but it's a million times more creative than anything in the fucking in Salvation in Genesis and Dark Fate.
I mean, I even thought about titles, like the one with like the 850 showing up. That would I would think about, because you play it on the same title as Salvation, so something with Shun at the end, so it would be Terminator Redemption, right? Fuck it. You might as well call it Terminator Resurrection, but make it good, because Resurrection in anything sucks. But make it where it's like, here's Resurrection, and then the third one's called Redemption.
Yeah.
You know,
it has potential. It would certainly be better than Dark Fate. I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever seen a movie that has a more nihilistic fucking plot than Terminator Dark Fate. I mean, fucking hell, like whoever fucking thought that John Connor was to be killed at the beginning of the movie, that guy can go directly to hell. Like, what the fuck,
movie,
man?
It had its moments. I will say Dark Fate is better than Genesis, because Genesis was just fucking trash. But the thing is, it's still bad.
Maybe.
It's still bad. But it did have some ideas. I'm like, this could work under better circumstances. But I get what they were trying to do. They were basically doing what's being called now a reboot quill, meaning like it's a sequel, a direct sequel to a certain franchise, ignoring elements that people hated.
A requel.
Yeah, a requel, because the first franchise, I think, to really do that was the Godzilla series, because they did the Heisei era with 84, ignoring the entire Showa era except for the original. That was the first one to really come up with that idea. And then, obviously, then with Halloween 2018, which I really liked, by the way. That was a decent sequel, although I hated how they just called it the title of the original. How about something like Halloween Returns? You know, just at least something simplified.
I think the one guy said it really well once. Is one of my, I guess you could say, my internet teacher gurus, Ross Scott from Accursed Farms. He said it's marketing steroids when you just rename something after the first
stupid.
one. Like it's marketing steroids.
Just call it give it a sequel title. So it's like, but the thing is, I officially call 2018. I do call it Halloween Returns just to give it some substance. But Halloween Returns was a decent installment. I am looking forward to the next two. But
wait, they're gonna make two more?
They filmed two movies back to back. They filmed two movies back to back as sort of like the final two chapters. So this year we're getting Halloween Kills, and then next year we're getting Halloween Ends.
Oh my god!
And and then after that they're saying no more of these. We're done. But we want to end it on a good note, not a piece of shit note like Resurrection or Halloween 6. Like those are, or even Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. They're always the sequel to the reboot is always fucking terrible.
After watching James Rolfe, like, did you actually watch Halloween 5 and 6?
I did, and I hate 5 and I hate 6.
Like, is a movie? Are those films like I just have because like it's sort of the impression I got when I saw James Rolfe's review. Like, is that like one of those movies that's just perfect to watch when you're high?
They are kind of. The thing is, I can't stomach 5. I can't stomach 5 because it was rushed to hell. Like, it was completely rushed, a 1-year production. I hate sequels like that. And 6 was just, they didn't know what the hell to do with it. With the franchise after that. The only good redeeming things about 5 and 6 is Donald Pleasance. He's like the heart and soul of the franchise for me.
And then he dies at the end of 6.
Well, no, because he passed away. He didn't die as a character.
I know, but then he dies. Like it's like no wonder they never made a sequel after that.
Well, it's funny too because like he's in my next review is on The Great Escape, and Donald Pleasance is in the movie. He's one of the best characters in the film. But in the first movie, in the movie Great Escape, he dies. But then it's funny because not many people know this. It's much like the Bird situation that in the 80s, they made a sequel to The Great Escape. It was a TV movie called The Great Escape 2, The Untold Story. And the thing is, it's not as good as the first one. It's more of an expansion of what happens after the true life events. But again, they got a huge cast for that. I'm talking Ian McShane, Judd Hirsch, Christopher Reeve is in this. And for some reason, Donald Pleasance is in this as one of the Gestapo, one of the bad guys. And it makes no goddamn sense because his character dies in the first one, and now it makes it look like he just faked his death and switched sides.
All right. Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, I interesting to know, for sure. But it's also kind of getting completely off topic, and every single people will matter. Yeah. But it's that's I haven't seen any of the Halloween movies. I can't watch movies like that. I'm just not that kind of person.
No,
they're my favorites of the slasher movies. If anything, they're the only ones I can really watch.
Well, you know, how do I put it, Jack? It's like when I can just about do a horror game because I am most of the time I'm in control of my own character. Like when it's like a slasher movie, it's like I'm waiting a bunch of hapless losers to like go and die, and there's nothing I can do to like help them. So it's just like I'm just it's like a literal case of the paralyzed viewer dilemma, where you're just watching people are gonna die, and it's like, and I guess it's kind of the point because some people are like, oh, look at that, Jason hacked that guy's face in half with a machete, but meanwhile I'm just like, fucking hell. That guy gets so many fucking chances to run away. What a fucking idiot. God damn it.
Yeah, it's like with Hector at the end of season 2 of Castlevania. Like, just fucking run, you idiot! Why the fuck you're still with that vampire bitch?
Well, I mean, the thing is that kills in horror movies and so on have gotten so over the top at this point that I don't even take them seriously or even grossed out. At this point, they become the equivalent of watching an itchy and scratchy cartoon.
Well, just so you know, like I know what, like I just like a little bit earlier I said I want to do a review of Dawn of the Dead, and like that is like the first like movie of its kind I think I have like willingly gone and like watched myself.
I mean,
Like,
I don't even watch many zombie flicks, but my personal favorite out of the whole genre is Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. That is one of the goriest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Well, what I'm saying is that like I'm so not that kind of dude that I literally just watched one of like the most famous ones ever after just sort of I don't know, it was sort of like a spur of the moment for the most part, if I gotta be honest. Like it just I just saw some of it and then I realized that I realized that the movie covered like what happens before it all goes to hell. And I was sort of like, oh wow, it does the thing that I always want zombie movies to do. And that's like the only reason why I even watched it. Like but then I did find out some other stuff which I think is like worth making a review on. The consumerism stuff in that movie goes way further than like everyone ever said. Like but yeah, like I'm not a horror movie guy. I'm way too nice of a person to just, you know, sit there and watch people get killed for fun. Well, that's complete bullshit because I play video games. You got what I mean.
Yeah. Listen, I do have to take off. I do have to get back to some work and stuff because I am very behind on some scheduling. But I do appreciate coming in. I mean, I may be sporadic coming on these. Like, they may just happen at random. So if you try to schedule anything with me, it's probably like, maybe not. But
we are just lucky that we could have this, and I'm very thankful. And I hope and I wish you luck on all your future endeavors.
Anytime, man. And I am looking forward to that stream where you guys rip my movie apart or the Big Jack Films binge. Like, if you're gonna do a binge, I know you can't stomach all the episodes, but if you want like a top tier of the best, I can say. You've done my Evolution review. You've done my Star Wars reviews. I would recommend things like, just a prime example, hang on a sec, my Valentine's Day special, my review of Legend, and Jaws Month. Those are some of the top tiers.
All right.
Okay. Goodbye, my Canadian friend. See you next time.
Oh yeah. Like I do have to ask this. Do you know Tom McDonald?
I do not.
Okay, well, he's a Canadian and he's the best rapper who ever lived ever. So I just okay, well, fine. Yeah, sure. All right. See you later.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Bye.
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 Have fun.
Like, how do I get out of this call?
You press the disconnect button at like the left lower of the screen.
Lower
yeah,
left.
gonna work on that. All right, see you guys.
Now back to a recap.
No.
All right, I'm leaving as well. Bye,
right,
guys.
See you, Latvian.
Well, everybody, that was significantly better than I had ever hoped this would be. So,
so that actually was our interview with him.
Whatever we are going to talk, whatever we would talk about now would be just way less interesting. So, I think this is a good place to end it. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, and we'll see you later. Bye.
All right.
Bye.